Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please give a warm welcome to the host of the Happy Hour, Chris Lane Sr.
If I were the devil. If I were the devil. If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies, and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion. And deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. What'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Good evening, everyone. Uh-oh. Hey, for once I wasn't muted on the thing, I was actually muted in my DAW. So, same result, huh? Starting off well. Hey, everybody. How we doing tonight? Welcome to Thursday. Welcome to the happy hour. And glad you all are with us tonight. I'm going to say, go ahead and jump right in and say hi to folks in the chat. So, there's Gary, 5x5. Appreciate that. Our good friend Hugh Caldwell. How you doing? Rhodey's Jam Cave. Glad you got off on Tuesday. I have not watched the replay yet. I was unable to watch it live, but I save things to watch during the week, and that's coming up. Live to Fly channel is loitering, I think, on DOMs just to make sure to scoop people in the correct direction. James Myers, good to see you. How you doing, buddy? And my friend from up the road there in Wyoming, Prince Prodigal, who's got a new track out that's really good. Check out Prince's stuff, guys. And I think Prince is going to get interviewed this next week on Frank's show, if I'm not mistaken. And let's face it, I often am. I'm the same dummy that set up my show for 10 o'clock my time, which was midnight. Because, yeah, I'm fooling. Anyway, let's see who else is here. I know we've got a few other people. There's El Weed Skador. How are you? And the Devil's Nipple has joined us again. Good to see you. The Dom Father's probably not here. That's me in the chat. But he might be listening. You never know. We'll talk a little bit about Dom. He was on last week, as you guys know. Pole Vault is with us. Good to see you, Pole Vault. Lori's Mishmash is here and then not here and then back at some point. So, share it out. Thank you for that, Lori. And I think I got everybody, unless we got somebody that jumped in. Yep, that's what I thought. It's Rhett from the Mix Club, who did a little bit last night streaming with his Stream Deck, showing us how he automates some of his production stuff, which is pretty handy. And so that's who I've got in the chat. Now I know there's more lurkers out there, and let's review. We love lurkers. So lurk away, and thanks for being here, even if you don't want to be in the chat. And I get that. There are some times that I was a couple shows today that I did nothing but lurk, but I was there, and I listened, and I hit the like button. So if you don't mind hitting the like button, I'd appreciate it. YouTube seems to care about that. So, and Lord knows what YouTube cares about, I care about. I don't know, but it does help help things get out, and so so we can get some more cool people here hanging out on Thursday with no big whoop. Now, as you guys saw from the promo, I will have a special guest tonight. Mr. Smith will be joining me, and we will be talking music, unless there was some kind of miscommunication, which is always possible. Now, you guys need to understand, it's 3 a.m. his time right now, so he may be wandering around trying to find a cup of coffee, feeding the cat, doing so. He'll be here when he gets here, but Mr. Smith is scheduled to join us this evening, and we're going to talk music, and we're going to talk production. And I did not have an opportunity to make a new bumper, but this will be a regular feature on this channel going forward. Probably once a month, I will invite artists in the community to come on, and we'll stick to specifically discussing music and music production, songwriting, unless we go off on a tangent and talk about food and other things, which, as you know, we often do on this channel. So, yeah, you're not wrong, Prince. It's I have been getting off fairly scot-free with potential side effects from the steroids I'm on, but there's been a few nights where sleep was a little hard to come by, and that is one of the possible side effects. So, you guys know. So anyway, things to discuss, and I gotta figure out how to get rid of this. Aha. You guys couldn't see it, but there we go. This came up this last week, and you guys, I'm sure, heard all about the giant Ozzy Black Sabbath concert with all the people that showed up to pay tribute to them, play their music and musics of other bands of that era, and just basically to give a send-off for Ozzy. They say that's their last show, and based on what I saw of it, that's a good thing. Yeah. You know what? I appreciate, you're right, Rhett. And they actually tested me for that, and it has not made any change. So, but yeah, they were saying goodbye to Ozzy and all that, and poor Ozzy is in pretty rough shape. And I don't know if you guys saw, there was definitely some shenanigans going on with the live feed, what you heard versus what was there at the stadium. I'll just leave it at that. But they did their best to make Ozzy sound as good as they could, and I got no problem with that. Again, now I have some problems with it. Let me start off with the positives. The positive is, as of today, that has set the record for most money raised for a charity benefit concert. So when you think about, Farm Aid, Live Aid, all of that this is eclipsed those, that is stinking impressive, and good for them for doing that. I think that's absolutely outstanding. So right there, that's, if we could just be done with that, and that is fantastic. Some of the other people that played were fantastic. Steven Tyler, who's not doing much right now because he's had some vocal injuries, but he did, a 30-minute set. He was terrific. He sounded great. Many of the other bands did. There were some weird things. They really booed the Disturbed guy, and I'm not sure why. I don't know what that's all about. It may be political. I don't pay attention to that shit. I have no idea. But, speaking strictly of Black Sabbath, Bill Ward's, he was a little rough too. He's had some health issues and everything, but it's good to see him play. Ozzy, we know he's not in good shape. But Geezer Butler was absolutely killer. He was great. Tommy Iommi, I thought, was really good in what I saw. So, if you're to go out in your hometown like that and say, this is it and this is the last thing we're going to do, I think that's fantastic. So, good for them for doing that. And, hey, Zach Thong, what's going on? Yeah, I know a lot of people haven't watched it. And I'm not a huge Sabbath fan. I just never have been. I like them and I appreciate their place in history, but I am a big Ozzy fan. 100% honesty. His first two albums were amazing, and that will bring me around to my other gripe with some of the things that went on. And so it made me sad on some levels to see just how much Ozzy has deteriorated, even since he was doing his show 8 years ago, or however long ago that was. His decline has been pretty significant, and that's just sad because we were seeing some of the guys were posting some of their earlier stuff, and they were on their game back in the day. And Gary was the one posting some of this stuff, and man, there was some really good concert footage from back in their heyday. Now, here's one of the things that I disliked. No mention of Bob Daisley. Was not invited. Nothing. and apparently there's some long-standing animosity. But for those of you who don't know, after Ozzy had left Black Sabbath and started his own thing, it was a band. It was Blizzard of Oz. It was Randy and Bill Daisley on bass, or Bob Daisley, excuse me. And this was a tight group, and they started songwriting, and it was pretty rugged. And Daisley obviously figured out that he needed to step up. He did most of the lyrics for the first two albums, did a lot of the song arrangements. Randy was a brilliant guitarist, really good musician, but Daisley's fingerprints were all over those first two albums. And then, there was some kind of issue, probably with Sharon, and and it's continued on to this day, unfortunately. So, but check out Bob Daisley's new book. He's got a lot of insights into all the bands he was in, and he's been around, and he was instrumental in a number of bands, not just Ozzy's first couple albums. So, and I will say this for public record, I hope there's a special place in hell for Sharon Osbourne, because she seems like four of the worst people you know. She's fired people left and right. They Ozzy and Sharon, but with Sharon would pull the plug on bands that they thought were better than Ozzy when they were touring together. She's done a lot of just pretty nasty horse shit over the years, and either is the cause of or didn't get Ozzy, help. And again, Ozzy's did what Ozzy did, but Sharon was his partner and on all that kind of stuff, and you'd think she would have gone, dude, you can't do drugs like this. This is not going to work out long term, and it is not. So I like Ozzy. Screw you, Sharon Osbourne. And that's what I have to say about that. Yeah, yes. I think that's pretty self-evident. I think they've got problems. So, all right. Hey, Sunshine Archer has joined us. Thank you, good to see you. But that's what I have to say about the Black Sabbath stuff. That was a thing that happened, and that's my little thoughts on it. But I'll get back to the amount of money they raised for charity is flippin' fantastical. So good for them for doing that. I think that really speaks well to them and all the people that participated. I know, Ozfest was a huge deal. Got a lot of bands their start. There is a lot of respect for Ozzy and the things he's done over his career, and for the rest of Black Sabbath, as well there should be. So, all right. So let's see what Zach is doing, and then we'll get on to the heavyweight portion, changing the strings. I got to change the strings on my acoustic tomorrow. I'm playing the Kitty gig, which we'll talk about later, maybe, but I got to do that after I play tomorrow. But everybody, let's put your hands together and let's say hi to my esteemed guest for the evening, the venerable Mr. Smith.
Hello, Chris. Thank you for having me here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and it is my great pleasure to have you on this program, sir.
Thank you. It's really good to see you. It's nice to be able to get a chance to talk to you as well.
Indeed. And thank you. I told everybody what time it is in your neck of the woods, and so thank you for being up at this ridiculous hour of the morning to join us on the show. Bless you, sir.
I'm going to get to America eventually.
That would be lovely. If you get anywhere west, you best look me up.
It's a deal. We need a band. We have to have a band. Because
I have, on good authority, that Mr. Smith certainly doesn't have to wear a mask, that he is in fact a handsome man. He just chooses to wear the mask. And I have it on good authority. It may not be true, but I've been told by somebody who might know. My lawyer says I need to say nothing. Yeah, lawyers, yeah. My lawyers are like, just say yes, Your Honor, and shut up.
Yeah, just pay the money.
Yeah, exactly. I had the distinction of my late father-in-law was a district judge.
Okay.
When I first started dating my wife, and of course I was in school down there at one time, and he looked me up and down. He said, "Have you ever been in my courtroom, son?" And I said, "No, sir, I have not." He goes, "That's a good start." He was a great guy. We got along famously, but yeah, I mean, here I'm going down to meet my future father-in-law, who's the district judge. Yay.
Wow, that's a bit scary, isn't
A
it?
little bit intimidating, even for me. Indeed. Hey, Large Guitars, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hello people in chat. Dan, Sunshine, Mix Club, Lars, Zach.
Yeah, look at that,
Great to
Jerry.
see you.
Yeah, we've had a couple new people join us here right in the last few minutes. But great to have you folks with us as we're going to just talk a little bit of music. Now, I assume everybody knows, but in case they don't, Mr. Smith and Valerie Bott get together every other Friday and have a fantastic music show. It is really top notch, and they explore all kinds of topics. They talk about equipment, they talk about techniques, they talk about songwriting. It is just, they go soup to nuts. It's a fantastic show. And what a great duo, right? Valerie Bott is a delightful human being.
Honestly, Chris, she's such a pleasure to work with. She's just fabulous, and she's so dedicated as
Yes.
well. That's the bit. You know, she produces so much stuff, and that's just musically.
Yeah.
Then you step outside of it, and she does so many different things with the pedals, the picture framing, the painting.
She's a
just ridiculous.
Renaissance woman in every respect.
Yeah,
her
she's
own art
brilliant.
studio
She's an
there.
inspiration.
Very
really.
very talented person.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed doing the sound sessions as well, because they've enabled us to go to places that we wouldn't have otherwise gone to musically, you know, into some of the history of it and some of the stuff around it. It's been great.
Yeah. In case you guys haven't noticed, Mr. Smith has been doing shorts this week in music and sharing little tidbits and fun facts, and that's a great little. Some of us have a great short game. Some of us don't do shorts hardly at all. We have no clue. I think about it.
I stumbled across it because of the sound sessions. We've got different sections in the show, you know, with our little idents and stuff. Trying to be professional, Chris. We're trying to be professional, you know. And we were coming up with ideas for sections, and it just struck me, this little, what about some musical facts from the past? And it's gone really well. I'm surprised at how many views the shorts have had, to be honest, as well. It's been really good.
Shorts really get out to people, which is, and folks, if you can do it, by all means do it. I've done a few shorts, and I look at the numbers and I think, who the hell watched this? I can't believe it, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
People come to my pokey little channel to watch stuff, but there's the best part of 2,000 of them. I'm thinking, where are you all hiding? Where were you before?
It's odd. There's a couple ways to look at it. Sometimes I get a little discouraged when I think, here's a song that I wrote and I spent hours and hours and hours on. I poured my heart into it. It's got a couple hundred views. And then I have a short of me cooking a cabbage or my hair blowing in the winter, something stupid like that, me talking about my car blowing up, and it's got thousands of views.
There you go.
Like,
there you go.
okay, whatever. Yeah,
So
you're still a
it,
mod, Rhett, until you screw up.
It's Paul Volter, isn't it, who swears by the shorts as well. Robbie Stingle does amazing with shorts as well.
There's a lot of people that do well. Lori's Mishmash really did a lot with shorts for a time. And I'm just, you know, I still have a job that requires me to actually pay attention to it on occasion. So I have good intentions. Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't always happen. Well, let's drop in just a little bit on some of the things that you do. We know you in this community. Now, nobody's come right out and said, but it's obvious you're, in fact, a professional recording engineer, producer. You've got some things going on. So
Yeah.
and that's fantastic. But like I noticed and I think I was in one of your chats and you were doing something, and I think everybody knows I'm a bass player who masquerades as somebody who kind of can play guitar. And you were playing a bass on a song, and I noticed a couple things that was real obvious to me. That you've got great technique, you really can play the bass well, and you have a lot of licks, but you chose not to do it. You kept the song relatively simple as far as the bass, and so take a second, talk about when you're putting together the parts, and you're a multi-instrumentalist, you play pretty much all the parts on your music. What's your thinking behind each part and how you fit them together?
It always starts with the vocal. So there's, and that sounds obvious, the melody, but it's the rhythm and the melody as well. And most of the stuff I do rhythmically is all built around giving that the best supporting role it can. So it never really should come to the front unless it really is deemed necessary. So we can all play a spanky-tastic, slap-happy bass line to anything. It's just quite often it'll override what the important factors are. So it always starts from that. It's a supporting role, basically. And then I start with the kick drum and the bass guitar in my head. And I go for simple accents. Because let's face it, Chris, we don't want to think about it too much. As a listener, we want to sit back and enjoy it and be able to sort of understand it without thinking about it, really. We don't want to mensa test for a song. If we want that, we can go to early Genesis, can't we? Or Yes. It's one of those things.
Or King Crimson, if
King
you really
Crimson,
want to challenge yourself.
Yeah. Or then, in a sort of slightly more modern sense, we'd go for something like Pliny now with the faster guitars,
Yeah.
And so it's more about the support role and enhancing what's there. So sometimes it's nice to put a little bass run in, granted, but unless that bass run is not in the way, and quite often as well, I'll take a motif from the lyric and put that into the bass line. So it might follow the vocal path. So that I'm always looking for what I call a linear enjoyment for a track. Which the idea in my head, I don't know whether that is actually a thing or not, but I see it as the listener starts off and goes on a very specific path through the song, and you need to keep them on that path. So if the singers stop singing for a minute, then you're allowed to put something melodic in. If the singer's singing, you're not. So I tend to switch between singer, some kind of passing phrase, mini melody, rhythmical bit, back to vocal. And that's how I build it, really. So I get a linear path through that for the listener that never stops, is the fundamental idea.
No, that's folks, right there, that is huge, sound strong songwriting advice. Just, keep the listener engaged in that way. And the vocal is everything, but you must have those other elements there. And like Mr. Smith says, I think they all fit together in some fashion. I personally do probably a little more. My bass lines are relatively simple, but they might even be a little more melodic. And there was a couple times where I think, okay, should I play what the guitar's playing here, or should I do a fifth? Should I do a fourth? Should I add that little different element to give the vocal melody something else to stack on and play against?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's really a good explanation. My musical ability to articulate that is limited. I hear it, I know what it sounds like, but I can't tell you exactly what it is. Hell, I don't know what key I'm in half the time.
I don't know what room I'm in half the time, Chris.
Yeah, well, these things, knowing what room you're in may or may not be helpful. Just depends.
It just depends. It depends on the situation. If
really
you're working with a drum and bass outfit, it's all right to be off your head a little bit.
Yeah, indeed.
So what about you with your bass? Have you got a particular go-to instrument? So for me, for example, I come to do a bass line, And my instinct is to pick up a P bass, a precision. It's just, I go to a precision. In the same way, when I pick up a guitar, I go for a Stratocaster. Have you got a particular thing you go for?
Yeah, on bass, it's really easy because I almost exclusively record with my 1982 Gibson Victory bass. It sounds monstrous. It's just a great guitar. It just I've owned a Victory bass in one form or another since they came out in 1981.
Right. Okay.
You know, and I'm unusual in that I've always been a Gibson bass player.
Yeah.
No,
there's not many.
Yeah, I have a Thunderbird, which I also love, but that's more my live bass. I like it's a little bit lighter, not a lot, but a little bit lighter than the Victory bass, which is ridiculously heavy. You know, P basses are pretty stout, and the Victory bass goes, hold my beer, and put a 5-pounder on there, bro, because
exactly.
It's heavy, but it sustains stinking forever. And no exaggeration. If I can hold a note and it will literally ring out for 25 seconds with me doing nothing. It's crazy because it's rock maple. So that's my go-to. Guitar, very different. I have a Telecaster I love. Have a Strat play that. I have my Ibanez, which is Les Paul-ish, kind of humbucker. I have my kind of jazz Ibanez AT, and you know they all sound different. They all have different things, and but to your point, I definitely find whatever guitar I pick up, and of course I have my acoustics, my 2 Yamahas. Whichever guitar I pick up strongly influences what kind of song I end up writing.
Yeah, I can get that. I can definitely get behind that. Yeah. And that's a surprise, I think, for a lot of people, because it's surprising how much of a personality an individual instrument can have as well. Sometimes you'll know that with having several.
Yeah, they just speak to you in a different way. You just get a little different feel and a little different vibe. I mean, you could play the exact same chords, but you'll find yourself nuancing them a little different, or your rhythm is a little different because of the guitar.
Yeah, definitely. And the way myself and Dave from the Methods in Hamsters, I don't know, people here don't know the Hamsters. Dave has a huge collection of guitars. Most of them, they're all Gibson, Fender, Hamer, Kramer, Gretsch. And most of the time when we talk about the guitars, it's about how the guitar in its whole sort of form interacts with the pedal board. Because that's where the real nuance difference comes from. Coldacre will know this.
Yeah.
Different guitars interact at the front end of distortion differently.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Hugh and Colby talk
often,
pedals for hours.
There you go. This is it. Yeah, we could go to a pub and not come out for a week. You know,
zero doubt.
Yeah, we're talking about string gauges and then pickups and you know. But yeah, it's important sometimes the way the guitar interacts with what you're using as well.
Yeah, and this is my bass player background. I actually used to have pedals on my bass and everything, and every year, the longer I played, the less and less I had. And by the end, I had like a chorus pedal. That was it. And I kind of took that approach when I got more serious about guitar and recording. But then I got a Vox amp, and now I'm playing with the sounds, and now I'm back, kind of going back the other way, and I'm starting to make a list of the pedals that I want to pick up for exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And different, just slightly different distortions. Like on bass as well, I do use quite a lot of distortion on my bass lines. I keep meaning to do an episode on this about how to record bass and some of the tricks that are involved. Now, particularly, it used to be kind of easier to record bass because nobody had a mobile phone or a laptop. We were all listening on decent hi-fi equipment or stereo equipment. Now we've all moved to these tiny devices. It's actually changed production and changed how we deal with bass. So I should really do an episode on it because quite often what I'll do is use a distortion on a bass but I'll run that as a separate track and feed it in with just essentially top end. So you've got your clean bass doing the thump.
Yep.
You've got a distortion round the top of it doing the top end and the gnarly bit. And on a mobile phone, then the bass becomes nice and clear, but you don't hear the distortion.
Yeah, see, that is a fantastic trick, and I've started to do a little bit of that. But again, I'm an old guy and I'm resistant, and distortion on bass back in the day, you never wanted that because, especially for live work, that was death. It made everybody's job miserable. So I've really had to start to re-educate myself and go, okay, people are listening on their damn phone, and you've got a cool bass sound, and nobody can hear it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's surprising how the human ear deals with distortion. We actually need distortion for clarity in some things when it comes to 2020 listening,
Yeah.
The distortion actually plays a big part in it.
Yeah, indeed. Well, this is a tangential to a certain extent, but you started off the conversation by mentioning how important the vocals are. How much saturation, or do you use a little bit of distortion on your vocals as well?
It depends on the track. So if I'm going for a very warm, intimate track, then no, there will be none. It doesn't really work on the acoustic stuff, but the moment you get into anything with a solid backbeat, if you like, and a solid rhythm section, then yeah, it can come into it at times, especially. It's not really distortion, it's more tube saturation with the vocal.
Tube saturation is really, that's the sound that I'm really starting to try and add in a little bit, because it adds that warmth. Again, being an old guy, tape, I love the warmth of tape. I mean, you lose some other things, but the warmth of it is fantastic. So
yeah, I think the only thing to be careful with when you start looking at a tube sat on a vocal is down the lower mids, like 400 hertz, that sort of thing, because it tends to pull those up and it can make them a little bit
yeah, little wolfy,
yeah, if you're not careful.
Yeah, indeed. Well, see, this
Gary, I always liked a little dirt in my bass.
Yeah,
and use the Boss Overdrive Live. Yeah, I get it.
Boss
I mean,
Overdrive.
some of your bass sounds are spanky-tastic, Hubsy.
Yeah.
In fact, you remind me a little bit, Hubs, of Geddy Lee in his approach to the sound. It's not necessarily a distortion, it's like a rasp.
Yeah, it's just got a little grit to it.
Some grrr.
Yeah, Hubs has a fantastic bass sound. His bass sounds great on all these tracks.
Yeah, they do.
And it really, to the point where, I've listened to it a bunch of times going, I'd like a little bit of that on mine. And I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to steal.
No, absolutely. No. I mean, when he sent me the bass line for the last track we did, which was Drones,
yes,
I just couldn't get my head around how great it sounded. This is just marvelous, thank you. Because it takes a lot to get a good bass tone. It's not easy.
It really does.
And I've always looked to Geddy for that. I don't know whether people know about a company called Sansamp. You're looking for a good bass tone, look at Sansamp. Fabulous. They've been part of my world for the last 15 years. Yeah. Would we like to remove the comment from Snooks? No, that's utter rubbish. If you would like to come in and talk some sense, Snooks, that's fine. But otherwise, if you can keep lies and rumours to yourself, that would be fine.
I'm not sure if you've ever been on my channel, Snooks, but here's the way we play. I don't do drama. Have no interest in it. You get one warning, this is it.
Yeah.
So take that elsewhere.
I have 0 criminal record, Snooks, as well. 0.
We're not even going to address that. That's it.
Oh, I will.
You want to talk about music, Snooks? You're welcome here. Want to bring in any other politics or personal stuff?
Yeah.
You will be dismissed and you'll never be back. Just
Yeah.
so that's how I roll. Just so you know. So all right then. I do want to play, because you brought it up, This was on my list. Let's go ahead and listen to the Ninth Gate track from the new charity album for Canada, Drones.
Excellent.
Let me kick that up right now. Music for Life. Share. And here we go, boys and girls. Fantastic track.
That bass tone.
Yeah, it just starts off with it and it just grabs your attention and goes, hey, listen to this, boys and girls.
I can't believe, honestly, Chris, I cannot get my head around the fact that I'm in a band with Hubsy, Frank, and Het. I can't get my head around it.
I mean, it's super cool. I was fortunate enough to have Gary on the show about 4 weeks ago. And we spent a long time talking about Ninth Gate. And, you know, it was on hiatus there for a while. And you guys had done some stuff. And then he pushed and everybody talked, and now it's coming out again, and I couldn't be happier about it, because you guys are a great band.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Honestly, and I feel honoured to be able to do it. It's incredible. And it's that nuance. It's when Hubsy took the track and not only come up with a great bass line for it, but the attention to detail sonically on what he sent me was just incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
And then obviously Frank's engineer had such an easy time mixing it because of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you start off with good clean parts, that was the interesting thing. I don't know if you were able to catch the conversation with Dave Jelly, Ivan Idea, on Jades, but he mentioned that the 65 tracks that they got for this album, he said a lot of the tracks were they were great. I had to do so very little to them. And I think that's a real testament to, you got guys like me that are, working out of their office / studio in Logic or GarageBand in my case, and submitting just amazing stuff that an engineer like Dave didn't have to do that much work, just kind of leveled everybody off and tweaked the EQs a little bit. So that's pretty amazing.
And you've seen it over the last, 5 years since we've all really started interacting with each other.
Yes.
The amount of support that people give each other in terms of technical support around here, with talking about things and how to, and can you show me this, and can you help me with this? It's like nowhere else I've ever been in my life. It's fantastic. What a support network. Because if you want to find out something, there's always one of us you can ask, and always one of us will try and help.
Yeah, absolutely correct. My acoustic guitar's sound, I lifted from Jade Starr. Asked her directly, how do you do it? And she gave me a list, very precise, of which I didn't have any of. So, but it gave me the keys to the kingdom in that, okay, I don't have this particular plug-in, but I see what it does, and I do have this plug-in, which does very similar things, and I built a chain, even though it's nothing like hers, it's still just like hers. And sonically, it sounds fantastic. And people have done that for me. I've tried to do it. I've helped a number of people get live streaming as they were starting out.
There you go.
Somebody helped me, so I help them. And just
there you go.
How it works.
Yeah, and we're all better off for it. I mean, this is the thing as well. Well, there's so much in the world that smashes each other down and tries to just bring people down and stuff. We all have enough of that in our daily lives, just coming from the media and stuff, out of the radio, out of the TV, out of the internet, out just all of it. Billboard advertising and stuff, it's all just, and this is one of the best parts about this place that I've seen in the last 5 years. The amount of personal support that people get through basically just folk being nice with each other, Yes. We're here to build each other up, not knock each other down. And that counts for a lot. And I've seen so many people. I don't want to sound patronising as well, Chris, because I think it's like you've just said. So with the Ivan thing, so all these people send tracks, and the bulk of them are not what you'd call professional. Like you say, they're a guy who goes to work and he's got a laptop or whatever it is, and he's got a few guitars. So he wouldn't call himself professional. But because we've all been building each other up and helping each other out, now he can produce something, or she can produce something that stands up, properly stands up. And the next thing you know, we've got a Charity for Life album, and we're helping kids on another continent.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That's what it all comes down to me. So forget knocking each other down and stuff. Let's build each other up.
Yeah, well, the world is based on lots of lies and fear porn and dividing people, because divided people are much easier to control and propagandize.
That's it.
We all have much more in common. What we see in our little music community is much more the way the world really is. It's how I've interacted with my neighbors for decades. That's how things really are. But we listen to a little too much news, and we get convinced that things are not maybe necessarily that way. So, and that's why I say we don't have time for the politics or drama on this. We're here to have fun, and this is my fun, and it's fun having people on, especially like Mr. Smith, who are really in that pro realm, but still, swim in our pool as well. And again, if you were paying attention, and if not, for those of on the replay, you've already got some terrific production tips from Mr. Smith, and I'm sure we'll get some more before the conversation is done. But for me personally, this is how I've gotten much better at my craft, is just hanging out with people in the community who have done things, and hey, how did you do that? Or, watching a video on how they did that. And it's been fairly terrific. Hey, everybody say hi to Camp G-May.
Hey, G-May. Oh, now, I've got something going on with G-May and Folk and Blues at the minute. Yeah, I've literally read your email 5 minutes before I came on, G-May, and I'm looking forward to this. There's a collab with G-May, Folk and Blueser, myself. I think there's another guitarist involved that I can't remember.
Nice.
But honestly, Chris, it's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely great.
Fun. Hey, G-May's good people. I hang out with G-May pretty much every Saturday night. It's my go-to fun place to be. So
nice.
It is.
Nice.
He's got a great environment there.
For me, it's difficult at the moment. It's a little bit late. It doesn't kick off till 3. It's like yourself, till 3 in the morning. So it can be a little bit tricky. It just depends on what's going on in the real world at the moment. It's like Axe and Nacho as well.
Yeah,
same sort of time frame.
Well, that's the same. Axe and Nacho are great, and of course they have that open thing. But it's difficult for me to play during the week. Our bedroom is literally right above this office space, so I can't be down here and wanging away on my guitar and singing at the top of my lungs. That's because my wife gets up at 5 in the morning to get ready for work, and so that's problematic. But Fridays and Saturday nights, I can raise hell all I want, and we don't go to bed.
Nice. I'm just reading Zach's. I was just reading that.
Yeah. It's
this is the thing.
Zach is getting out a little bit now, which is nice, because we tease Zach. He had all these amazing guitars. Like, you ever going to play him for us?
You ever going to play him? That was it.
Now he is, and so that's fantastic.
And he's right. The OU812 crew are just there's a fabulous humility about them. There's some seriously talented players in there, but the best part about it, they're just open and welcoming. And everybody gets an opportunity, which you've got to champion. You have to champion that.
One of the fellows was on with Lori and I on a Friday, and it's a super cool dude. And I have not actually made it to that show. I've kind of caught a little bit of it. Again, there's lots of shows on, and sometimes it's tough to catch them all. But I definitely plan on dropping by at some point, because it looks like a cool place to be. And there's Tremor Bear. How you doing, Tremor? Down there in Arizona. See some of my neighbors. Here's the thing, since Valerie is here. I suck as a human being in that Valerie doesn't live 30 miles, maybe 40 miles from me on a bad traffic day. And we've never met in person. We've back and forth in the chats, and we've been on each other's shows and all of this. Yeah. Never met in person, because let's review, I suck. And I just need to go up and one of her shows and say, "Hey, how are you? I bet you recognize me."
I know she'd love that. If you turned up at one of her shows, she'd absolutely love it. I know she would.
Oh, and I had a huge opportunity.
She speaks highly of you as well.
A couple weeks ago.
Very highly.
Oh, well, you're very nice, Val. She might not after she meets me in person, so, I could blow it.
I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, that's on me. So if her opinion changes, it's my fault. But yeah, she was playing a place a couple weeks ago, and it really was in striking distance, but I didn't know about it until it was already over. And I'm like, she was right up the road. Dang it.
Yeah.
So I gotta pay more attention, and we'll definitely get together.
Speaking of live stuff, do you actually get out to see many live bands at the moment? What's it like where you are?
I do when I can. My wife is a huge music fan. Well, not of my stuff, obviously, because that sucks, but of music in general. So we go to a decent number of concerts. We're older, so we've hit some of the 70s and 80s bands when they've been around. But we also love bluegrass and things like that. And
Yeah.
band Watch House. It's a husband and wife, and they're a terrific duo. And we've caught them a couple times.
Are they a locally based thing?
No, they're a national act, but they tour here frequently because there's a great folk scene here in Denver.
Okay.
And they've played Red Rocks. We saw them with the Denver Symphony, and then we saw them at an outdoor thing. It was actually at the Denver Botanical Gardens last summer. And we all sat on the grass and watched. It was fantastic. My wife and I go to the Symphony frequently. We love that. And we go when they bring in other bands too, or other acts. Like we've seen, and I'm blanking his last name, but he's the world's greatest mandolin player, alleged. Chris, and I'm blanking his last name, but we saw him with the Denver Symphony. We've seen Bella Fleck with the Denver Symphony, and so
Lovely.
We catch as much as we can.
Yeah, because there is something to see in live music as well.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
different.
Well, my wife was so funny that when she got tickets the first time we went to the Symphony a few years back, she goes, "Ooh, we're kind of in a weird place. We're right by all the double basses." And I'm like, "Hello, thank you."
Yay!
I mean, this couldn't be better for me. And it was. But we've moved around because you get a very different vibe depending on where you are. And Betcher Concert Hall in Denver is an amazing place. But it sounds a little bit different, and you get more or less of certain sections of the orchestra depending on where you're sitting. So we like to try and move around and just get a different sense of it. And I love orchestra. I have the BBC symphony thing in my DAW, and I use it with some frequency because I love that sound.
Yeah, and it's always shocking, isn't it, how much power comes from them?
Well,
I can never fully understand, Chris, the bottom end that comes from an orchestra. I can't get my head around it.
It is unbelievable. It is really, depending on the piece, if they're doing Wagner or something like that, I mean, we're talking heavy metal of the, 1700s. I mean, it's in your face, and it's got counterpoint, and it's got this heavy bottom, and it's an amazing experience.
And it's a totally, mixed club will know as well, it's a totally different type of bottom end to the band scenario, because the only way I can describe it with an orchestra is the bottom end is wide open. It's
everywhere. It's just, it envelops you in just a very different way.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's more of a sensation than anything. It's not just something you're listening to. It's something that you feel in your bones when you're with an orchestra. It's a beautiful thing. I think I couldn't recommend it highly enough to people. I think they should try and get out and see an orchestra.
It will train your ears in a very different way, and then when you get back and you're working with your own stuff, even if it's guitar and bass and synth, just basic stuff, you'll just hear it in a very different fashion, and you'll expand the wideness of your mix, and you'll just hear it in a different way. And so I'm with you, Mr. Smith. I heartily recommend that to folks.
Yeah, that's the thing. It broadens your horizons somehow, especially if you're recording things. It'll bring you something new to the table that you've never heard. If you've never been out and listened to an orchestra, please try and have a go. Yeah. You will not be disappointed. And to be honest as well, it doesn't really make a lot of difference. So whether it's Tchaikovsky or Brahms or Beethoven, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Because the first time experience, I can guarantee you, it will be wonderful.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing is, these guys are unbelievable musicians.
Yeah.
You just throw a chart in front of them, they go, okay, and just play it. And play it perfectly.
Something I cannot do. I used to be able to. I can't do it.
No. I've never been able to do it. I can barely read tabs in a timely fashion. But they are pros. And so every little nuance is really, so you can get, the the East Hoboken Schlubkist Symphony Orchestra, and they're great. And then the Denver Symphony is great, and
Yeah.
Because they're all staffed with top-notch musicians.
Yeah.
And so
It's a lovely experience. Yeah.
Now, same thing, quartets. I love little quartets because it's a little more, it's the bite-sized, more like what we do, but that same instrumentation. And, there's no wink links there because there's like in a three-piece rock band, you can't hide anywhere. You got to play right or everybody goes, what are we doing? And so I love quartets, and I try and catch them whenever I can.
Yeah, it's something different again, isn't it? And it's like you say, almost it simplifies. It takes that orchestra thing and it just takes it down to its simplest form. And in that, usually, it kind of becomes somehow more painfully beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a richness, but it's also sparse at the same time, which, that seems counterintuitive, but it really is a fantastic experience if you're in an intimate space.
That's it, and especially when you get just a single cello handling the bottom end, it's just beautiful.
Yes,
beautiful.
And I love the sound of cello. Oh my goodness, I much prefer it, honestly. The big double basses are amazing, but the sound of the cello is magical to my ear.
Yeah. I don't know whether you saw Sound Sessions, not last one, the one before. I featured an artist called Jo Cleary on the show, and she's a violinist and looper. She's essentially a Twitch partner.
Interesting.
But she's been coming over to YouTube lately, and she plays live violin, mandolin, banjos, does some vocals and loops things. And she's worth checking out if anybody wants to see a little bit more on the classical side of things. Go and check out Jo. She's on the Sound Sessions a couple of weeks ago. Again, you'll not be disappointed. Lovely.
That may have been that must have been when I was out of town on vacation, because I did miss that one, and I would have been all over that.
How was the vacation as well? Was it good?
It was delightful.
Good.
It really, got to see beautiful country out here in the West, and I'm a Western guy. I was born in Colorado and have lived here much of my life. I've lived other places in the West, but I mostly lived in Colorado. And but we love Idaho, and we love Montana, which is where my father lives, and so we hit all of those places. And I educated my friends on the real meaning of the Grand Tetons, and they are a beautiful, big, beautiful, voluptuous mountain range. Thank you for laughing at that. And I tell the story, but it's true. The French-Canadian fur trappers, when they were coming down, late 1600s, early 1700s, they named the mountain range, and it was lonely out there trapping beaver and such, and so it literally means giant titties. One of the peaks is named Mary's Nipple.
Only in America.
Only in America. But again, it was the French Canadians that did it. It wasn't America back then. It wasn't
America.
It was the frontier.
Wow. I'm glad you enjoyed it, though.
Yeah, it was a good time. And I ended up writing what I think is a pretty good song on my trip.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's always good. Because for me, I'm not. There are people like you who are super prolific. I'm not that guy. If I write a decent song once every 3 months or something, I think I'm kicking ass.
I think of Valerie like that. I can't believe it. Where does she get them from?
I don't know. And they're...
Chris, every week.
And they're all great.
I know.
100% honesty, I've never heard a Valerie original song that I went, meh, that's all right.
This is it.
They don't exist.
No, it's incredible. And then she just calmly presents two of them on an acoustic.
Yeah, here you go.
And then we all move on, and she's got another 3 waiting for next week. I just can't get my head around it.
Yeah, people like that are amazing. And I really have tremendous respect for people who are prolific like that. And, I mean, there are people that are prolific, and their stuff is meh, who cares? I mean, there's a lot of it, but you gotta, every 4th or 8th song is good. But people like Valerie, whose songs are always excellent, and there's so many of them. Man, they are a unicorn.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the things. So, Valerie in particular, you'll have found this over time. So, you might not particularly get on with an artist, so you might not buy this artist's records. But then you come across somebody who plays one of their songs and they make it accessible to you in a way the original artist couldn't.
Yes.
Yeah. Valerie for me is that. That is the nub of the gist. Valerie is that nub. So she can take anybody's song and she can make it accessible for anybody. That's fun, that's a real skill, is that?
Well, here's a great example of that. Okay, Peter Gabriel, I think, but I wasn't a huge early Genesis fan, but I like Peter Gabriel. And you two guys collaborated on Mercy Street.
We did. Yeah.
And I was blown away. I went, that's one of the coolest songs I've ever heard. And
Wow.
I'd heard Gabriel's original, and I thought, okay, it's good. But when you guys did it, exactly to your point, Mr. Smith, you guys made it so accessible, and it was just stuck in my head for weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, inspired by Valerie again, she decided, it was, I heard her play it, asked about a collab, yes, and then she made it all happen, really, especially with David Collier as well, with the video editing as well involved. It was a great little project, and it happened very fast as well. And I trapped myself in a room with a red light and a blank wall, filmed my bits, and then sent it over, and she did the rest on the video edit, because that's the other bit as well, the video editing. Valerie handled all that on Mercy Street. I didn't do anything. I never lifted a finger. I think the only thing I did was maybe point out a typo.
Yeah, that's that's why I like hanging out with Lori's Mishmash. It's like, she goes, I'll handle the video. Awesome, do it.
Yeah.
Have fun, because I mean, I kind of enjoy the video editing, but you get to a point where, like, look, how much green screen can I stand in front of? What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
So, but this kind of brings us around to, as this community, once upon a time, if you were a recording artist, you had engineers and producers and makeup artists and roadies and all of this kind of stuff. In our little community, you sweep the floors, you write the songs, you change your guitar strings, you do the videos, you do the promotion, you are self-contained. And that's cool in a lot of ways, but why I love doing some collabs with people, because it brings in that kind of band element where you're getting some feedback, and you don't have to do everything.
Yeah, and I do think, you know yourself, Chris, music is, hopefully, when you produce a song, it becomes more than the sum of its parts. So what we're looking for is the right arrangement so that it gives you the tingles down the neck. And sometimes you've got to change what that arrangement is to get that feeling, you know? And I think that's one of the parts I like when people all do things together, because the sum of its parts makes it a bit more special. If it was just one person on their own, it wouldn't be as good. But when you get several people involved from different channels and add in a little bit, it becomes something magic. And somebody like Laurie's just the best exponent of bringing people together.
Oh, yeah.
And having what I'd call an even platform for everybody,
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know of a more inclusive person. Like,
no.
Come on down. Well, that was kind of the joke when I kind of stumbled into this thing, and I was seeing what she was doing, and she's doing all these covers and things with other people, and I'm like, well, this looks like fun. And time went on, and I finally wrote her, and I said, look, who do I have to blow to, do a song with you? She goes, all you got to do is ask. What do you want to do? And I said, okay. And we did, and we've done, I don't know how many now, but I always have a great time working with her.
What have you not done? You've been dressed as a pirate, a thief, what haven't you done?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I'm an idiot. And
it's so much fun, though. This is the thing. And look, the world takes itself so seriously sometimes.
Yes.
Why? Well, why?
I don't get it. And I do appreciate Jade interviewed me fairly early on when I was just kind of getting my feet wet in this, and she figured out right away. She said, "You're a guy that doesn't take himself that seriously." And I went, "No, of course not. I have a mirror. Why? How could I?" And
Well,
so,
well, you look like Thor to me, but that's just me, you know.
well, again, it's a amazing. This is why the internet's wonderful. It's an amazing illusion that that I actually look like I can pick up a hammer and do something.
Yeah. Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Especially with that fan and that hair blowing.
Well, I've told the story a million times because this space, my guitars behind me are literally the back wall of this little office space. So
Yeah.
the heat in here, even in the winter, is ridiculous. So when I'm doing those kind of video things, if I don't have a fan going, I'm basically sweat is pouring off my face, which is not a good look in 1080, high res
No,
or
it's
4K.
not great.
So we run fans. Hey, there's Les Nagy, and this person.
Oh,
Whee!
well, what better time to come on? You guys are praising me.
Yeah, and that's it. So you goodbye. All right. Yeah, that's it.
My ass off right now, but I wanted to say hi amongst this conversation.
Yeah. Well,
it's
again,
good to see
we're
ya.
having a great
You too,
community
Smitty.
conversation and serious music conversation. And in case you guys don't know, Lori was all over the community album. It played on 4 different tracks, including
Oh.
mine, which I was so grateful for.
Yeah, well, it was awesome.
Because
So-
Lori is much more than just doing fun covers. She's a
Thank you.
very serious musician as well.
Sure, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not a smoke blower, but I asked for a very specific thing. I said, "Here's what I hear on this piece," and she liked my song, and I said, "Here's what I hear. Do your thing." And she did her thing, and I'm like, "That's perfect."
Well, I thank you for trusting me because it was a great song, and it takes. You guys were so right about Val, and so right about. I heard some of the writing that people do, and I don't do it on my own. But if I take the time and listen to it, I think I have a good ear for what will fit into somebody else's song.
Absolutely, that
She's
was
one.
certainly my experience.
So,
And
well, thanks.
again, you're on 4 different tracks with 4 different artists, and
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Thank you.
it
Are
was.
you not in? Are you not into the thousands now, Laurie, with the covers, with the collaborations?
No. I think overall, since I've been on YouTube, I forget now. I think I get like 900 videos, and I've been on
Yeah.
YouTube
Wow.
since
Not 1,000.
5
Not
years.
1,000, no.
Well, you said thousands. I don't have like.
All right, okay.
Songs, but yeah, and I'll have to go look back because we were talking about this once. Because I think YouTube will say under your name, Laurie's
Yeah.
Mishmash, 894 videos. But I don't know if that means live streams plus videos plus the stuff I do for my son. I don't know.
Got you. Yeah, got you.
I have 894 or something posts, whatever they may be. But I do a lot of collabs.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. And is there anybody left that you haven't done anything with yet?
There's a few. I haven't done anything with Val, but she writes such great originals, so I would love to do something with Val. I haven't done anything
Oh,
with
now
Gold
that's
Balls,
something.
There we go. Matchmaker,
Trumma
matchmaker,
Bear, but
make me a
Dolphins.
match.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people. But I do have a new video coming out Monday with a first-time collaborator. So that will be a surprise. Somebody I've never worked with.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I like about you. Quite often you'll bring a new vocalist into the fold,
Yeah.
you know?
A lot of times they're introduced to me. I don't find them. So,
Right.
like James Myers introduced me to Kelly, who's a drummer, but he also sings, and he did a couple of songs with us, 80 songs, which is great. But I
Yeah.
heard Moving Out today, and I was like, oh, I'd loved that one with you. That was our first
That
one.
was great.
Yeah, Moving
That
Out
was great. It was my opportunity to put a suit on, you know?
Yes. See, you gotta wear a suit in my videos, at least once. Chris, you dressed
Even
up.
I have worn a suit in a Laurie's Mishmash
I think
video.
the first
'cause-
time you dressed up in one of my videos, and like you said, we've been in
No, that was the first time I dressed up.
first time we
Period.
dressed up ever, but in my videos was easy, right?
Yeah.
You put
Right.
your hair in a ponytail, a respectful ponytail, and you had like the white shirt on or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Hi, everybody. I've been moving furniture. I got home from vacation this afternoon, and you know what that means. You got to do laundry. You got to go shopping and put food in the fridge again. I had to unpack my bags. I had to
Yeah.
pick up the mail. And then I was like, I got a new rug delivered, and I took it upon myself to like move couches and furniture tonight and put out a rug myself. So I'm dying because it's like 94 degrees Fahrenheit here. Like, I don't know
And
that
what
is.
was it like? How was the vacation? Was it good?
It was great. It was great. So my family always rents a house once a year,
Okay.
either north or south from where I am. They decided to go south, which is Cape Cod, Massachusetts, which is a famous summer destination. And so they rent a house for the whole
Yeah.
week, and I usually just pop in 2 or 3 days because I can't do more than that.
Okay.
And my older sister pops in, and my younger sister and my nephew. So it was great. I spent 3 days there. We did the beach. We did mini golfing. I banged a gorilla. I can say, how many people are watching this?
What?
Pole vault keeps laughing at me.
Plenty.
Yes.
Yeah.
I put
Mini
that
golf,
out as a
she
short
banged a
film.
gorilla,
I banged a gorilla. Yeah.
and there's video.
But people are acting like it's a real
I'm
animal.
completely lost. I don't know what you mean.
Whatever you think I'm saying, Smitty, I am saying no.
Yeah, I don't know that they have the same kind of golf courses in the UK that we have here. Some of the mini golf courses are
Yeah, do
ridiculous.
you guys have mini golf? Mini golf is
Yeah,
such a
yeah, we do have it. Yeah, we do it.
Okay. It's a summer thing. Pole vault's like, I saw it. He can't unsee it. But yeah, it's like a summer thing to do with the kids. And even though, my nieces and nephews are older and I'm 53, we still like to do it when you're on vacation, then go get ice cream afterwards. But there's it was like a jungle theme. So every
Oh, got you.
hole you
yeah.
turned to was a different animal. So I kept taking pictures with my cousins, and it was a gorilla in a compromising position. I could not pass it up. So
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I think it was pole vault. Oh yeah, it was pole vault. Pole vault's like the guy on the bridge behind you was horrified, and I'm like, that's my dad. He was 3 holes over with my uncle, and he wasn't even looking. So yeah.
Yeah. And
I tell you, I've been enjoying the stuff that you've been showing with Cam as well lately with the band. That's been great
Oh, thanks. Yeah, love it.
because he's so cool and he's got a really great attitude behind the kit.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No wonder
I love
people want to
hearing
work with
that
him.
from great drummers, because
Oh,
I
he's
hear it
awesome.
from people who watch him, but to hear it from other drummers that are good like yourself is just solidifies it for me, right? I'm not just his mom. It's not just a fan.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No.
Well, my son
No,
is a
it-
really talented drummer, but what I love about
Yeah.
Cam is he's a total musician. He's not just a great drummer. He's a great vocalist. Writes
Oh,
his
thanks,
own
yeah.
music, his rap stuff. I'm not a rap guy. Cam's rap stuff is outstanding.
Yeah.
And,
thanks.
Yeah.
the kid's got skills.
Well,
Yeah.
and Smitty knows this. There's a difference between a drummer and a percussionist. So he learned it all when he went to the conservatory. He had to learn the timpanis, the bongos, and he had to learn. I really credit his teacher for teaching him every style of music, not just, all right, kid, I know you want to do AC/DC when you're 10 years old, but I'm going to teach you the bossa nova and,
Yes.
the Mozambique and how to do jazz.
Yep.
And so anybody
Yeah.
can hire him. And that's his goal, is right? Either be a session worker or get hired from somebody who needs a drummer to sit in and do any type of music. And so he's
So do you think he's going to end up moving to Nashville, Laurie?
Nashville area is going to shit. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
want him in
it
California, which is
sucks.
going to shit. A lot of people are saying New York is the place to go.
Really?
Yeah, New York is
Ooh.
kind
I
of.
just want him here, like in that little bedroom over there. He's still my baby.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, Mom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nashville,
sorry.
California. I don't know. I really don't. He's got 1 year left of college, and
Yeah,
it's up to him where he wants to go, right? And I won't sway him. I'll support him.
of course.
Yeah, he'll find where he needs to be.
But yeah,
And he
and
may,
whatever
Yeah.
he
may
does.
kick around a couple places.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think he'd be snapped up pretty fast as well because it's some people have a musical sympathy. You can see that Cameron's got it straight away, and that's where it's at. It's that
That's it.
ability to not play is the bit.
Well, it's scary, it's really, right? Because it's like everything's digital now. Like, do you need a session worker? Like, can we just? You were talking about doing digital drums. I'm like, can he make a living off this? And he is now, and he's only 20, right? So
Yeah.
he lives off
Yeah.
this island during the summer when he's not in school. And the minute
Yeah.
he got there, 5 other bands were like, "Oh, we got Cam back, and we got a new drummer back after the winter." So he's working every single night, being asked. So that's a great thing. But
Yeah.
I think he wants to do more than that. Like, he wants to produce and
Okay.
do session work if he
Right.
can. But heck, he's making
Yeah.
more than me. So he's not more than me, but he's got less expenses than me. But he's making a good amount of money for his age. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good
And
for him.
I don't think there'll ever be a problem with this digital stuff. Sometimes it's really useful, but there's something about humanity. People want real people, I think,
Yeah.
and they will do.
Awesome. I hear a lot of people say that. Like, I want to hear. You can tell the difference between a real drum or whatever Logic does for you, or whatever
Yeah.
you're using, but you can tell a real
Oh, yeah,
musician
there's
from
no
the
question.
program. Yeah.
I program my
Yeah.
own drums, and they're okay. Primarily because I listen to my own kids so long, I know what they should sound like. But I can't wait for him to start playing on the old man stuff, because
Yeah, you said he might be
my
coming
stuff
back
will go
home,
up
right?
exponentially. Well, he's close by now.
Yeah.
And we're talking about getting his kit, which is at another place right now, and setting it up here so it's here and he can
Nice.
come over. And,
Love that.
Nice.
Get him playing again, because he basically had to take off. He got, and Schmitty can probably relate to this, he got terrible wrist injuries.
Oh,
And
shit.
it was part technique, and it was just part because he's built just like me, and he has these giant forearms and
Popeye.
little delicate in the wrists, and he got inflammation in there, and it got to the point where it was just too painful to drum. So he had to take time off, and by the time he got feeling better, it was like, hey, I don't know that I want to kind of put myself back in that situation again. So he has drummed more sparingly in the last 2 years than he was.
With all us musicians, when we hurt the instrument that we need to play our instrument, it sucks. Smitty, you've been there. Chris, your voice. Hugh, his hands. I'm getting
Yeah.
arthritis. So, like, if I don't take care of this, I'm not going to be able to play. It sucks getting old, but especially when it's your muse that you can't do any longer, or you don't want to hurt yourself further by doing it any longer. It sucks.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Sorry, guys,
It
I
is
did not pay
difficult.
attention to the chat. Hello. Thank you,
Yeah.
Feisty, you cutie. Hi, Jerry Gomes, darling.
All right.
I try to say hi to everybody.
I've just seen Jerry's comment. Jerry says, I need a drummer to play on an original song. I hate fake drums. Well, Jerry, I know if you reach out to myself or to James Myers,
Yeah, we know guys.
or to R4.
You got two
as well.
guys that can do it right now, right here between Smith and Myers.
Yeah, just if you can get hold of one of us, reach out, and one of us will help. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. That's awesome.
Very good. And it's good. I've got this queued up. This is one of my favorite Mr. Smith originals. And there's a couple that I really, really like. But I like this one a great deal, and I want to play this. And then I want to get your feedback on where your mindset was when you wrote it, and kind of walk us through. Oh, and then we're going to talk cats, because we got to talk cats. Maybe we'll hold off, and maybe we'll just talk about cats right now.
Smitty, drink some Red Bull. It's 4:30 in the morning.
So
be
there's
ready for an interview.
Yeah. And I'm going to turn my camera off and get something down my neck.
Oh, go
Yeah.
something.
And there's Drum Cat right there. So, yeah. Schmitty's a cat guy. I'm a cat guy. So, yeah. Oh, it's good to see that pussy cat. All right.
Say
Everybody.
hello. Yeah.
All right. I've got to do
She's
this,
amazing.
And
There's a
then
lot
this.
of cat people in this community. I'm the only one
Yeah.
that's doing a
Well,
cat.
what
out
are
here.
you going to do? But here is
Oh,
a
James.
Mr.
James is out. He programs his drums. Yeah.
Yeah, he programs all his drums, never
Yeah,
played a note.
obviously. He's just really
Funny
good
guy.
at miming. Yeah. I mean,
Jerry, I have his email if you want it. I'll give you Smitty's email.
yeah, his syncing skills are amazing. All right, here is one that I've always particularly liked. This is Mr. Smith's Gambling Man.
Ooh.
If I was a gambling man and I bet on you, would I lose? Would I lose? If I was a running man and I ran a race for you, would I win? Would I win? If I was a righteous man and said my prayers for you, would they come true? Would I lose? If I was a braver man and asked to be with you, what would you choose? would I lose? Would you ever let me hold you, keep you warm when nights are cold? Would you balance up my scales or be the fish that I have caught? Will you always be alone to live your life upon a shelf, or gamble your hopes on me? If I was a music man and wrote a song for you, would you be moved? Or would I lose? If I had an artist's hands and drew the sun for you, would you choose the moon? Or would I lose? If I was a wealthy man and gave it up for you, would I lose? Would I lose? If I was an open man and chose to let you in, would I win? Would I win? Would you ever let me hold you, keep you warm when nights are cold? Would you balance up my scales or be the fish that I have caught? Will you always be alone to live your life upon a shelf, or gamble your hopes? Would you gamble your hopes on me?
Yeah, fantastic. Just
Thank you.
amazing. Again, you can see why that's one of my faves.
I love that one.
Yeah. Really is a great. Oh, here we go. I've got to hit that button.
What are you, Frank Turzo?
Yeah.
Who's driving here? Who's driving?
Well,
You just next. I know
Frank
you should be
Turzo.
mine.
I blame it on Frank.
It was Frankie, baby. Oh, he's
Not
long
fair
gone.
to Frank, but and plus you can hear me, so there's that.
That's true. Awesome job, Giuseppe.
Hey, thank you.
Ask him all those questions, Chris.
Well, there's a couple things that really stand out about this track. I love 12 string, so I mean that zingy, that was amazing. But like we opened talking about how you choose to do your bass parts, and that was one that I felt like was simple-ish, but there was a couple little runs in there, and just it wasn't just a basic 2 and 4 bass. It really drove the song in a lot of ways, and it was I love everything about that song. Love the lyrics. So tell us a little bit about your thought process behind how you came up with the lyrics, how that came together.
Okay, so 2 little points first. The guitar is not 12 string, but it's done with 2 guitar tracks. One guitar track is done down the bottom end, and one's done with a capo high up.
Okay.
And then smashed together.
Yeah, so that gives it kind of that zingy 12-string feel.
Yeah, that's it. That's how you get that. So it's basically a guitar playing the same thing, but with different harmonic content in the chords. And then the bass line, instead of adding any other extra instruments, I kind of just do a few little bass runs that are almost, if I was to arrange the song with a lot of money, I would have done that as violin parts. That would have been the violin part that the bass does with those little runs. But I didn't have the money or the time or the inclination, basically, or the violinist,
The violinist, but other than that.
Yeah, other than that, yeah. But originally,
Val
so
for
it started.
violin?
Yes, she does. In fact, she really should do more of that as well, I think. I'd love to see that. That would be great. But the song originally, it sounds like a very personal song when it's not. The basic premise of it is I had a friend who had struggled for a long time with her sexuality and were basically bottled up inside themselves. And I took I took that idea and I sang it as myself and just give it that premise that,
That's nice.
would I win or lose if I asked? Because it's before asking the question, it's all would I, is it, maybe, I don't know, would I lose, would I win, I don't know. So it's all before anything happened with that kind of internal struggle, and that's where it came from.
That's great.
I think that's an interesting premise, and I think we've discussed this on the show back in the past when Dom was a regular, when he was his and my show, that there for a long time there, he couldn't write anything but from his personal experience. Where I was completely the opposite. I never wrote from personal experience. It was all just things that I imagined in my head. And, as time went on, he wrote more imaginary or scenarios where he saw somebody else or something, and then I started to get a little more personal. And I think that's interesting to always hear from songwriters what their basis is for that. How much of it, many people, it's just very personal, and a lot of times it's like, no, I've adopted a perspective, or I know somebody, or I can imagine a situation. So,
Yeah, I find it easier to write from a personal perspective, but I tend
Seems like
to.
it would be easier that way. If I were to write, it'd be something that
It can't-
that I felt.
It kind of is, but at the same time as well. So I have to. I'm very careful with that, because what I don't want to. So, for example, imagine if I was really annoyed with somebody, and I wrote a song and it wasn't very nice about them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want that to become a lasting legacy in my life. I don't want to think of that person like that, and every time I sing this song, regurgitate this sort of bad feeling. So I kind of try to take the situation, step outside of it, and write it sort of a bit more objectively, have it a bit more looser around the situation rather than kind of pinpoint, it's just not my thing. So I kind
Would you
of,
say some lyrics you would relate to like real life or what's going on, and then you just embellish?
Yeah.
And add,
yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, I use them as little jumping points, and then you take that as artistic license on the back of it, basically. Because I think lyrics are often an embellishment of stuff anyway, aren't they? Really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, as a writer, I can tell you, I'll write facts, but for the narrative, things get more interesting. They can get.
Yeah.
It's the most exaggerated version of the facts, and then songwriting, you just go that much further because it doesn't have to be factual.
But
it
I
just
think
has
that
to be more.
I did it.
that you feel are the ones that you relate to, right? So when somebody writes a song, I would think they'd want to write something that anybody can relate to, not just a personal experience, right? Because you're writing for the audience, aren't you? Not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're looking to put it across so that they can get it. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Now that's an interesting premise there, Lori. I don't know. Do I write for the audience or do I write for myself? I got to think about that for a second, because
It doesn't
I'm not
matter if
sure.
that's your intention, but if your song comes out where anybody can interpret it for themselves, then it's a good song.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. In that, even if I wrote something just because it amused me or I liked it or whatever, chances are somebody's going to like it for the same reasons I liked it. So.
I love the one that you wrote on vacation. Amazing.
Oh, well, yeah.
And I think a lot of people could relate to it, or think of the lyrics.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mentioned that I wrote something on vacation, and I don't
not
share
heard it yet.
things. Yeah, well, nobody has, except for I ran it past Gary Hubbs because his drumming experience, I programmed the drums that I wasn't totally certain on a couple parts, and I wanted to run it past him. He said, cool, you got this down. And then when I did a scratch vocal track, I ran it past both he and Lori just to go, what do you think?
Okay.
And then I'm going to go ahead and re-record parts of it because, it's really a scratch track. I did a one-take vocal just to kind of experiment with the melody line. And then I'll run it past the people of Songwriters Anonymous and get, maybe some tweaks from them. And then it will be a real song.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
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 And I think a lot of people could relate to it, or think of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I
Well,
did
we
an
did
interesting one with Deedsville as well. Just, talking about how you come to the lyrics. I did a song called Mirage or My Rage with Deedsville,
Yes.
and we'd come up with the music between us. And he said, I'd like to call it Mirage or My Rage.
Ooh.
And that would be the cue for the lyric. And it was interesting to me. It was I thought, so my rage, that's a bit extreme in a sense. I don't want to be shouting about how terrible things. So I had to find a way of framing that. So it took me a while so it was without quoting my own lyrics to make the point, but it was turn the diamonds back to coal, take the light from the sun, this kind of idea of
Love it.
of taking rage but making it so that people can access that feeling somehow. But without that cue, I never would have written that song. It was great from him to have that jumping point to do it,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
That was one of the songs that I had keyed up to play this evening at some point. So, yeah, we'll
Excellent.
definitely get to that one.
Is that current?
Excellent.
Yeah, it's like we planned it, but as you guys know on this show, I don't play jack. I planned to have Mr. Smith on. That was about it.
Yeah.
Not big on planning for this show because there are so many great shows. Lori's show is great. It's planned and she has activities and we're going to do this and that.
Activities.
It's
For all you drooling old people.
this
Come on,
dude.
the activity room, everybody.
I'm happy when I can start the show on time
Or put the right time on your
or
show.
put the right. Well, yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I had the show starting 2 hours later than it really did because I'm a moron.
The crafting tables, yes. Everybody
Yeah.
to the knitting room. Hi, Val.
All that fun
Of the
stuff.
movie business. Yeah, so I have my show tomorrow, and when I came home today, besides moving furniture and shopping and doing laundry, I was like, shit, I gotta get some stuff together for my show. So I've been doing that as well. But yes, I do like to plan because I like it to flow. This is great. This is a whole.
Yeah.
This is a talking format. This is what you do.
Right.
Everybody has a different niche, and
Exactly. And the point of this
Plays
whole,
and
the
talk and
flow
talk.
comes from we don't know what we're going to talk about exactly. We don't
And that's
we
a
don't
good
know who's going to
flow
show up some weeks. We just, we're going to see. We like to keep it like improv when I used to do improv comedy. Let's just see what happens.
you what?
No.
I
Have
know.
never mentioned that before.
How did you slip that in? What are you talking about?
Oh,
You're not funny. How the fuck did you get away with doing it?
well, trust me, improv comedy is really not funny sometimes.
It's just
It
dry.
is extremely difficult to do, and I was not great at it. I was
Oh.
okay.
I mean,
Hi, Steph.
comedy's hard anyway, but
Comedy's
improv.
hard. As we know,
I
you
would
can
do
run
that.
afoul doing comedy. And I
Listen,
have
I've been
been
to
not
Gorilla
funny
and
in the
people are
past.
unslipping me. I didn't even do it for YouTube. I did it for my cousins.
So, Jade and I have had this discussion many times. I've actually had her on one time, and we spent an hour talking about comedy because we both have a high interest in that.
I think I've had a couple conversations with her too, and I tell Jade all the time, "You are so good. I hate people that look like they're trying." And Jade is
Yeah.
so natural at
Yeah.
just being hysterical when she does her characters and anything. And I said, I love that sense of humor because she'll be making people laugh, and before it gets old, and you're like, "All right, move on." She already moved on, and
Yeah.
I'm like, she has the best timing, I think, for comedy.
Well,
Yeah.
that's all it is. It's timing. Hey, everybody say hi to Miss Stephanie, the birthday girl, yesterday.
Hi, Miss Stephanie. Happy birthday.
Happy
Yay.
birthday.
One, how old is she? She's got to be 19, 20, 21.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
You
birthday,
talk
Miss
about
Stephanie. Happy
that.
birthday
I'm a
to
man.
you.
I never
Ba-dum-tish.
discuss women's ages.
Well, she's a young girl, so it's okay to okay to ask young people what their age.
No, she's actually 62, and that's an AI photograph.
Could be.
You never know.
You don't know anybody on YouTube for real. Do you really know anybody here?
It's Gary Hubb's secret account. Actually, it's not.
Yeah, that's
Stephanie's
right.
not real. It's
No, if it's
Yeah.
Gary's account, it would be a dirty name.
All right. Well, look at this. See, I would never ask that thing, but
Oh my God.
my goodness. Good for
wow,
you.
Gorgeous. You're a lot older than I thought. You look great.
wow.
Yeah.
My youngest baby sister's turning 49, so it's creeping me out that my youngest sister is 49. Yeah, 49. So
Hey,
43.
How many sisters have you got, Laurie?
I have one older and one younger, and I have one older brother and one younger brother, and I'm right in the
You're the middle
weirdo
kid.
middle child.
No, that's my wife is the middle kid.
So,
I get that. That explains
We've got
a
to
lot.
ask, why have you not got a band with all these siblings? Are they not musical?
No.
Isn't that funny?
Isn't that funny? Nobody in my family except me and my son. My grandfather
Really?
played the trumpet, I think, and like the Italian parades in the North End. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I learned to play piano. I don't consider myself having a gift of music. I learned to read music and I play music, and I'm better at it than most people because my sister and brother both took lessons and they just didn't catch on to it. I continued because I liked it and caught on to it, but yeah. So I don't know if it's a hereditary thing or just something that I
There must be something. Now, there's little musical talent in my family. My grandfather apparently played trumpet somewhat professionally.
Yeah.
He was the only one. Then I came along and I play and sing and do all that. Now the rest of my family, my brother has the musical ability of a 2x4. Both my sons are really good musicians. My oldest is a guitar player, very talented. My other son is a drummer. My brother's sons, his youngest son is a guitarist and is pretty good.
Well,
But the other one, nothing. Got the old man's musical talent, which is zero. I made this joke with the Chandlers because it was like, it would be great to play with your brother. And I said, I'd love to play with my brother, but
I'm blessed to be able to play with my son when he's available, right? So, not play but he plays on some of my videos.
Yeah, well, I played
Hello,
with my...
not visible. Hello,
How
good to
you
see you.
Hi, not visible.
There's a bass guy. Yeah, I played with my youngest son in church for literally a couple decades. And we played together every Sunday, and so... But, that was a season, and that season is over, so... But I do miss... that's why I want to get him back over here playing again, because I miss playing with the dude.
So, did the whole pandemic thing change the live scene for you, Chris?
Absolutely. In that, again, I was a church guy. That's what I did. When I quit, my brief professional touring music career way back in the mid-'80s, I kind of sold most of my gear, liquidated my sound company, et cetera, and then I joined a church when the kids were little, and the pastor said the weirdest thing actually ever. He's there, and we're having cookies, and we're chatting and everything, and out of the blue, this guy says, I've been praying for a bass player.
Ooh.
I didn't own a bass at that time. I had sold them all. I just had my acoustic guitar and my Telecaster. And just out of the blue, he says that. And I went, I played bass for a lot of years. And he goes, well, great. Do you have one? And I said, no, I sold them years ago. I don't have one right now. And he said, okay, well, let's work on getting you a bass. And so he starts scouring the paper and finds me a Gibson Victory bass like the one that I had stolen 12 years before.
Really?
And Victory basses are so rare. So,
stolen? No wonder you're
it was stolen. So, this was one of those things like, I guess God wants me to play in church. So I did that for quite some time. And then the pandemic came along, and, here in the U.S., we got thrown out of the churches, and then we could kind of come back and video live stream, and there was all kinds of... I was having some issues of how things were run anyway, and it was like that time when I just felt like it was like my season doing this is done. And in the 5 years since, I've had no inclination to go back and play in church. I'm not anti-church, and I'm certainly haven't renounced my faith or anything, but that season of me playing in church apparently is done.
Here.
That could change.
You get playtime on your own too, so that's probably
that could change.
Giving you what you need.
You never know. Sometimes God taps you on the shoulder and goes, "Oh yeah, you were doing this. Now you're not. Now you're doing something else." Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me to be in an all-girl band last week. This woman I haven't seen in a while, and she's from all like the jams open mics that we used to take Cameron to, and she's like, "I've been watching you on YouTube, and we need a keyboard player." And she goes like, we'll do Pat Benatar. She was naming all these 80s. I'm like, I've never played live. I've never played in a band. I've never played on the stage. I said, I don't even think I could find the time. I mean, I'm working full time during the day and doing YouTube at night, which I enjoy. And she's like, I knew it was a long shot, but I wanted to ask you. But I was like, nah, I don't know if I could ever do that.
Would you like to try it?
No, I'm too busy. I'm just so like, where am I going to find the freaking time and then be out till like 1 or 2 a.m. and then working the next morning? I'm already up till 2 doing videos, but I would have to give up something. And
Yeah.
I don't have a desire to like. I'm not the type that needs to be on stage, even though it seems like I am. But I'm just in my room, right? But I don't need to be in the forefront.
Okay, yeah.
I'd rather be in the audience with a cold beer, watching and cheering on than.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest as well, I prefer being on YouTube now than going out live. Live is a hassle for me.
It is.
You know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you got to get there 2 hours early, and you're leaving 2 hours late. It's a whole night.
Yeah.
I see it with my son. You got to get me right. You got to set up, and you got to break down, and then you got to wait to get paid. And it's like,
Been there, done that.
10 hours at night, you know. Yeah.
Not to say that I won't in the future. I mean, but it would be not unlike what Valerie does. Just maybe me solo and acoustic and go out and play for a couple hours and walk away. And you'll appreciate this, Mr. Smith. My latest thing that I'm doing, I volunteer at the Denver Animal Shelter. And there's a program
lovely.
that you go in and you play music for the animals. And calms them down, makes them, a little more adoptable. They get a little more human interaction. And because I'm a cat guy, I usually go to the cat room. So I go and sing about whiskey and, deception and heartbreak to all the kitties. And
I love that.
For a couple hours a month. And the cats are into it to a certain extent.
Oh, you're getting 2 Christmas cards off me this year, Chris. That's beautiful.
But it really is a worthwhile thing, and apparently they're going to film me doing it at the end of the month because the program started in Houston. It was a young Indian kid, and you know how Asian parents can be. Indian parents are the same way. So this kid was playing piano as a fetus, and like about the time he was 10, he noticed that his dog, who apparently was a little mental, did better when he was playing piano. So the kid got the idea, maybe I should go to an animal shelter and try this. He did, and it worked, and so he got his parents involved, and they developed this program called Wild Tunes. Well, started in Houston. It's moved here to Denver. We just started the program a month ago. It's in New Jersey, and now we're looking to, expand it out across the nation. That's the point of, I guess, me doing this video at the end of the month, is to just get it on their website to start building a little more awareness of this.
Stress, they need you. That's so cute.
Yeah, serenading the animals. That's right.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, Chris.
Right?
It's just, I've always volunteered for things, and I have a heart for animals, and
this is why you've been sent somewhere else, haven't you? He said you don't need to go to church. There's something over here.
Exactly. Now you're never done working for the man. You just sometimes you get doing different things, and I love animals, and I just adopted 2 rescue cats after my other cats passed away in February. And but you can't adopt them all, but this is a way for me to help other animals find a good home. So my wife found the program, and she said, you probably need to go down there and do that, big guy. And I said, I think you're right. So
what a beautiful thing.
Yeah, well, again,
awesome.
Hopefully it helps get these animals a good home, because there's a lot of animals that people are struggling, and the animals are struggling because of it, and so to get them married up for a place that they can be safe and loved and taken care of is good. Now, not all animals are, some dogs, they're different frequencies. They're a little more sensitive. Cats are, I don't know, cats are a better audience in some ways, in my experience.
Don't dogs howl with you when you sing about?
Well, not me,
especially if you play harmonica. Yeah, harmonica,
really?
they tend to howl.
Oh, no, there's frequencies there that they just they're like, dude, stop it.
You look like a professional then, Laurie. You've done that before.
I got one down here, but yeah, I don't know how to do it. I think you just go like this and move it around, and then it makes noises. I've played an old folk song before, but years ago. But that I wouldn't mind doing. That would be
right.
That's less intimidating to me, and you know that they're enjoying it, loving it, than like doing it in a pub or something. I don't know.
Yeah, playing in a bar where it's just transient customers and stuff. It's just, no, it's not. It can be soul destroying, Laurie. That honestly.
Like that. Yeah. I don't need it.
If you're doing gigs where you're actually selling tickets and people are coming to see you, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But if they're just wandering in and out, no, it's not good for the soul. I'll be honest, it's not.
No.
Well, as you can imagine, I know a lot of musicians in my personal life too, and I see them.
Yeah.
The gigs, like people are rude, or
Yeah.
Screaming out requests, and you tell them you can't do it or you're done for the night, and there's just a lot of rude people out there. But old people and animals.
There you go. That's your best gig, and our friends here on YouTube.
And YouTube.
Yep.
These are all
you're not
great
go
places to
YouTube
play.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned, you don't play live as much anymore, but you certainly had spent your time playing live back in the day.
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Smith.
I thousands of gigs. Yeah, that was what I did.
Right.
And then split that between live work and session work. I mean, more often than not, I'm just a hired gun, and come in and get people out of the mire with something, or I'm just hired to record an album for somebody. And then the pandemic changed everything. Literally everything. Since the pandemic, I was hired as a session player for 2 albums, and that's all I've been involved with live since then. And I think, say again.
Why hasn't it picked up again?
It's not that it's not picked up again. I think people. Well, the venues closed down, so there's now a lot less places for people to play, and the foot traffic has decreased through the venues because the people that used to go out have now got used to watching it via YouTube and streaming services and this sort of stuff.
I know.
So you've got musicians who've got used to streaming, and then you've got punters who've got used to just buying the beer at home. Beer's gone through the roof expense-wise as well. So you get all of these things add up. And I'd say we've got, if we've got 40% of the music industry left here, we'd be lucky, realistically.
Yeah, and that may
the
be
whole,
a high estimate.
Yeah, the whole ballgame changed, really, with it all.
I feel like maybe it's just my region. I don't know, but I see a lot of packed places still. And
It may be
which is
regional.
great.
Yeah,
That's great.
good for you.
But a lot of people tell me, though, New England in the U.S., the Northeast, has a lot of places where you can just go and play live music. There's not a lot of states that have that, I don't think. We walk into restaurants and there's someone playing live music, like just go get a burger somewhere, someone in the corner playing. So maybe we just
that seems to still be the case in Ireland for us. So across the water in Ireland, every bar you go into, there will be music on.
Oh yeah,
and it's only there. We're here, but it's sort of part of the culture there, where it's less now here. Especially with multiculturalism, we've got so many different cultures live in the UK now. Just every kind of race, creed, colour, and that has changed the way things operate. It just has. It's changed the world.
Their experience with music culturally is just different.
That's it. That's it.
No, I definitely, we saw that here in Denver. Had a terrific live music scene for many, many years. And a number of good bands have come out of here, but it was a bit on the decline. And then the pandemic, most of the best live venues here in Denver, they're done, shut down. And a lot of the restaurants and bars that feature live music they just don't exist anymore. So.
Yeah.
And one of the problems for me as well, Chris, Laurie, has been, if I move this camera, you can see the size of my drum kit.
Yeah.
I do not want to take that drum kit out live, and I just don't want to get involved.
take something less just for a gig?
I can and I do. However,
Break it all down. It would be a pain in the ass.
you're still doing it. I've got other kits, I've got a spare kit and stuff, and then I think there's a slight annoyance to that. Cam will tell you as well. If like Cam could play a different drum kit, but just because it's a different drum kit, he'll almost be frustrated by it because it doesn't give him back what he gets from his own drums.
He gets
And it's similar with that.
Snare with him.
Well, there you go. There you go.
And he's got
That's
4
it.
different kits because he's got one at the island, one at school, 2 here,
Gotcha.
and they all do something different. But yeah, he knows the sound that he wants, and he's got it tuned to what he wants. So yeah,
Everybody is like that. We were talking about guitars earlier. You can't hand Mr. Smith and I just any old guitar. I mean, we can play it, but it's not going to be what we'd want to play.
like his sound.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We wouldn't get the best out of it because it doesn't work for us on some levels. So totally get that. Yeah, I do not miss that. The second cousin to drummers as far as gear and heavy crap are the bass players. And
It's the
my
bass
rig
player,
used
yeah.
to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was a biamp
Especially when you're
rig.
talking about one of them Ampegs with 8010s in it and stuff, What?
Yeah, I had 4 10s and then an 18-inch folded W cabinet as my low end biamped, and it was a ridiculous setup.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't miss moving that.
I bet.
But how many memes are there, Smitty, with showing people loading in for gigs, and it's like the drum is in the back. The singer comes in with their microphone kit, right? And
Just a microphone. That's it.
I sent something to my
singer.
son. I was just looking it up because it was a cute little postcard thing that I saw. It's old fashioned drawing. The old fashioned people like that.
Got ya. Yeah.
And the daughter
Got
saying,
it.
Mom, is there really such a thing as a perfect man? And the mom goes, of course, dear. They're called drummers. So that's for you.
I approve.
My son.
I approve.
There's a woman out there for you. My son, not to use me.
I'm happy single, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Woman of trouble.
But yeah, I'm just to the point where even my, 15 watt Vox amp, it's still heavy as hell, and I don't like moving it around.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm a Slim Jim. But I just don't want to move crap like that anymore.
Yeah, Jerry.
So what about you, Laurie, as well? What have you got coming up in your world? Have you got stuff in the pipeline?
Oh, yeah. YouTube-wise, you mean? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going live tomorrow, as usual, on my Friday night show after you and Val and after Paul and Sunshine. I'm doing Italian. Like, it's just another thing that I just thought about in the blue. So I'm having as many Italians from our community on as possible. Which Chris and everybody else listening who's always on my panel, I still want you guys, my diehards on. But it's first come, first serve because I might have more than 10 people. But they're popping in and out. But yeah, I got, Frank the Torso Turzo. I got Synthworks. There's a Guido as well. And Manny from the Lily Pilly. So any Italian, and I probably forgot a million of you, but a lot of them are invited. And, of course,
Brilliant.
Vince Ginelli and all that. So we're going to do some fun Italian stuff. But I am working on other songs still. And like I said, I have one coming out Monday with a new collaborator. And that'll be, it's funny because I went on Frank's channel for the Pulse to remind myself who's on, and it says Laurie's Mishmash is the co-host. I'm like, you want to fucking tell me that? What?
Yeah, Frank assumes that with you fairly frequently.
Co-hosting Monday. Thanks, Frankie.
Who knew?
Who knew? I thought he said Brian Drums was doing that, but he said if he fell through it, he would ask me. I said, I'll be there for you. But, but I do have a few. Hugh and I have one coming up. I'm just waiting for Hugh's fun video to come my way.
Yeah. So
in fact, I'm working on one. Well, I will be with Hugh and Justine Kasprick as well.
Nice.
We're gonna, I've just finished working on I've done the drums for the G May and Folk and Blues one, and it's time to track the drums for Hugh this week. I can't wait for it.
Well, and Hugh and Coldtaker have a premiere Saturday night. They're going to be they're doing the field trip from Camp G Mays.
Yep.
And that is going to be freaking amazing because they're both doing several parts with several different guitars, and they're both awesome players. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Coldy posted the link earlier. If you're still in the chat, Coldy, go ahead and post it again. But that's going to premiere. Don't want to miss that, folks. We've gotten little snippets of the preview, and
right,
it's going to be good. It's so good to have
Thank
our
you,
friend
Zach. I hope
Hugh
to see you there.
playing again.
Yes,
we
I know.
talked about.
Yeah.
He had a point in time where he just could not play, and it's soul crushing.
That's been harsh.
So
There it
it's
is.
been
It's a premiere.
great, and
Hi, Coldy.
there we go. Coldy's a great moderator. He's just there,
And I already have it pinned in my chat for my show tomorrow night, just so you know, Coldy and Hugh. I pinned your premiere.
yeah, and I'll be promoting it as well.
Don't miss it. Yeah, it's going to
Don't
be great.
miss it because it's going to be good. Yeah, I've worked with Hugh a number of times, and it's always been a great, amazing experience. And
I would love to work with Hugh sometime. I've never worked with Hugh Colby.
Yeah, never, ever.
Never. No, never.
40 songs later.
Yeah. I've been fortunate that it's both been originals and covers with you, and
Yeah.
he's a great player, and he always brings great stuff to the table. So
Totally does.
Yeah.
indeed,
And he brings a lot of guitars to the table as well.
Yes,
I've
he
never
does.
seen
Although-
anything like it.
although less, he's divested himself a little bit.
And
You know,
Zach,
yeah.
you're getting ready for fun on Saturday. Is that with Brian? Oh, you wait one too?
Yeah, I think that's where he's going to go.
I love that you're playing more with Zach. I love that you're on there. And
Yeah,
Ryan's
it's
a great
fantastic.
guy. So good for you. Good for you.
Mhm.
Emperism's here. Hi, Tira.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? Yeah,
Good to see him.
yeah, the crew
Emp's not
is
Italian,
out.
is he?
Emp is, I do not believe, Italian.
I don't think it's Italian.
No, I have ordered the Chef Boyardee mustache for tomorrow, but I don't know that it'll be here. So
You watch
may or
yourself.
may not come.
You watch yourself.
I'll just come on and be every cliche, because nothing has ever gone wrong when I've gone on shows and done accents. That's always been fine. So,
Well, I'm Italian and I poke fun at myself, and so that's okay. And I actually told everybody, I'm like, oh, you get to dress in mafia outfits. Not that that's all Italians about. I mean, believe me, my grandfathers are off the
no,
boat.
I would never stoop to that kind of stereotype. I would come as
I'm
Chef
telling you,
Boyardee.
I think I'm going to wear a fedora, maybe like a striped vest. I don't know. We'll see.
Because Chef Boyardee was a real person, folks. Really was.
Chef Boyardee sucks.
I didn't say it was good, but I just
Orange.
said he was a real person.
It's like orange or something. I, don't
I
know
bet his original was a lot better than the crap you get in the can now, but
what- Maybe, yeah.
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 Who
Laurie's
knows?
Aussie accent is killer. Well, why are we talking about Aussie accent? Hello, mate.
What's
that right?
that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
You want to go down to the pub for a pint? No, a stubby. Well, there you go. All right, everybody, thank you.
They're just messing with you.
Yeah, see, what are you saying? Colby always calls me a cocktail.
Yeah, anyway, I've got to go. Bye.
They're all my friends. They don't care.
Exactly. We do have to. Let's get to that aforementioned Mr. Smith song that we discussed that he did with Deedsville. And he kind of gave us the premise for this, that got a little inspiration for the song based on them co-writing the lyrics. So let's hear "My Rage" from Deedsville and Mr. Smith.
Take the place out of the moon, take the light out of the sun, make the stars shine inward and the songbird hold its tongue. Close the desert rose that bloomed, make all the fires burn cold, make the rivers lose their water, turn the diamonds back to coal. I've been never fade. Sit there on the surface like some mirage in the haze. I've been taken by the rage. Some scars, they never fade. They just sit there on the surface like some mirage in the haze. Make the clock tick backwards, make the rain fall to the sky, let the oceans lose their water, take the light out of your eyes. Give me everything I've wanted, let me burn it to the ground. Take all the songs around the world and let them never make a sound. I've been taken by the rage. Some scars, they never fade. Sit there on the surface like some mirage in the haze. I've been taken by the rage. Some scars, they never fade. They just sit there on the surface like some mirage in the haze. I've been taken by the rage. Some scars, they never fade. Sit there on the surface like some mirage in the haze. I've been taken by the rage. Some scars, they never fade. They just sit there on the surface like some mirage in the haze.
All right, there we have it. Mirage or Mirage,
Awesome.
as the case may be. Yeah, good song. Just
Thanks, Chris.
and here's what I'd like to, let's talk a little technique here. We've talked about, those of us who use the canned drums and everything. Your drum sound is unbelievably great. Take a few minutes and just talk about maybe your influences as a drummer and your influences as far as sound production and recording of drums, and how you came to get the sound that you do.
Okay, so biggest inspiration really over the years has actually been Neil Peart from Rush. And then second to that, I'd say would be Sting, because Sting uses some of the best drummers in the world, such as Omar Hakim and Vinnie Colaiuta. And then Peter Gabriel as well. He has got this, he's got a different approach to drums because he used people like Jerry Marotta and stuff originally, and production by David Bottrell. Now, so you've got Neil Peart, who it's a sort of an expose on drums, but it's always sympathetic to the song. You've got Sting, who always finds the right guy to provide the right groove for the song. And then you've got Peter Gabriel as a little more experimental and uses loops and more sounds than just a drum line. So all three of those combined have sort of left me where I am, really. Standing on their shoulders, really. So those are the 3 points that look for. So does the groove work? Are you playing it in the pocket? And then is it sympathetic to the actual song itself? Does it get in the way? And you'll notice with that Mirage track that it literally is just a groove. There's no big fills, there's no big cymbal hits. It's just all the way through.
A drummer that doesn't overpower is a great drummer.
It's
You're there when you need to be there.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? If you want to you need to put your foot on the gas, do it. But otherwise, kind of, it's a support role. And with that particular track, it was the emphasis had to be, when I first got the guitar parts through from Deeds, when he sent me the original loop that he had,
Yeah.
I loved the, so I don't know whether you notice on that, the guitar, it's do, 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 it's got this little riff, but on that, the guitar's got an organ pedal on it, which it stops it sounding like a guitar, and it gives it this kind of spooky feeling to it. So
Right.
all I wanted to do in the background was have the shuffle and this sense of forward movement with it, you know, that where these people are just trudging through the desert, it just doesn't stop, it's indefatigable, it just keeps going. And that's why that particular song just has this shuffly groove, no big fills, and you can concentrate on this. Yeah, you know, the sounds that are there, really, you can let the sounds wrap around you rather than banging along with a groove.
And a lot of your, not a lot,
Go
but a
on.
lot of originals sound like that. It's like smooth jazz almost to me.
It's better like that, really, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
We mentioned it before, Laurie. It's sort of who wants to think about music when they're listening to it? We want to enjoy it,
Feel it.
really.
And
You know,
feel it.
yeah, that's it.
And,
That's it.
You know, sonically, that's what the parts were, again, simple, but everything, man, the kick was distinct. You knew when the kick was thudding. You knew the snare sound was amazing. And you could hear the hats and just the little pieces and everything, but you had to listen for, oh, okay, that's what the hats are doing, and here's...
Mm-hmm.
But sonically, it pulls together in such a neat way. And I get that from all of your tracks, even though, you know, the drums don't always sound the same on them. Obviously, you change some things around based on the song, but you're just getting terrific sounds. Do love your snare.
Thanks.
Because it really is and I know you've got a couple different ones that you use depending, especially when you do the live stuff. But all of them just have that right snap that, you know,
That comes from Neil Peart. That's definitely Neil Peart's influence. Definitely. Yeah. Because the snare, it's the backbeat, isn't it? Now, that was one of the great things about Neil Peart. Yes, it was prog rock, but it was always about the backbeat. So you always had an anchor point, and that snare for Neil was the anchor point. And then Vinny does it as well. Cam, I'll tell you.
I was going to say,
Vinny's got this.
Vinny Caliuta's Cam loves that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that same. It's a strange way of anchoring the drums, because most people tend to feel that the anchor point is the downbeat, the one, and it's not really. It's the backbeat of the snare that really gives the feel to the song. And those two in particular were just great at that. You know, I'm standing on their shoulders with it. I'm always trying to aim for something that would even be in the same ballpark as them guys, basically. You know.
Yeah. I don't know the technique, and I don't know what you guys call it, even though, you know, I raised Cameron to go to lessons all the time, but I just know when things sound good and right.
Yeah, Valerie just said, you all don't understand how hard I hit that snare. It's loud. Yeah, I think, was it not something like,
well, Val.
It was like 117 dB in the room.
Wow.
Something stupid, you know. And well, Cam, there you go. Cam will tell you as well. Sometimes to get the right snare sound, you've got to really hit it, and then other times you've got to stroke it, and it's dependent on the track as well.
Yeah.
You know, which it's strange to say that to some people, but it really does make a difference. Sometimes it's great to be banging away at it for a rock track, and other times it's more like you're trying to make it go to sleep. You know, just lullabying it along.
And he also does songs where he uses just the brushes, right? Because it's
there you go. There you go.
He does a lot of blues stuff. So
yeah,
but he had I'm not going to get the name right, but like a superphonic, really good snare drum, and he forgot to bring it to the island for one gig, and the lead singer was like, called my husband, bring his fucking snare, because that one he's using right now is so horrible. Like, you can hear the difference. And Cam missed it too. But yeah, there are sometimes where it's quiet.
Well, the snare is critical. As a bass guy, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna play with the kick, no question. It just I don't think I could not play with the keyboard. I don't think it's possible. But any little accents that I do, or anything that's always based on what the drummer's doing with the snare.
Yeah.
Every
you go.
time. Because that,
Yeah.
that's what's driving it along. And so that's why my kid, he's got a big piccolo snare that he played most of the time, because it had a sound that was very distinct and really cut through what we were doing at the church there. And it's still one of my favorite sounds. I mean, it's a deeper piccolo, but it's like nothing like a Zeppelin snare, where you have that huge snare that he used. This is kind of on the opposite end. But it snaps and it cuts through a lot of the trash, basically. So I always love that sound.
It's funny. I mean, I obviously know enough to know that the bass player wants to hook up with the drummer, and they don't overtake. And you guys work together. But what's funny in Cameron's current band is there is no bass player; it's the keyboardist. So he does the bass. They call him the left-hand bass player because he's doing the bass on the keyboard. But they don't have an actual bass player. But
it's like the Doors, isn't it?
Had to learn his stuff, though. I mean, this guy is like world famous. He's played with like famous people, and he's a really good keyboard player. And Cam went in there not knowing any of their music, and he's doing better, like much better now after 3 years with them. But yeah, he had to learn even his bass from a keyboard, and to hook up with him, right?
Yeah.
Well, and it's no easy feat. No easy feat doing that.
They give him props, so I appreciate that. Like, I mean, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Cameron takes good direction.
Yeah, well, it's very different doing it that. I live always disliked playing with a keyboard player unless I worked with them for a while, because we would fight each other. And it was nobody's fault, but I'm hanging with the drummer, and as a bass player, I always viewed my role was to hang with the drummer. We're tight, but I'm also providing a little melody for the lead singer. I'm trying to keep the idiot guitar players on the reservation and, hold that together. And if the keyboard player's just kind of whacking away with the left hand, is like, we're stepping on one another. This is not going to work.
I learned that, Chris, in my collabs, because as a reader and a classically trained pianist, meaning I read notes and play both hands, I learned a lot of melodies, although I was playing solos, right, or piano solos. And when I started collabing with people, I would have singers say, can you not play that melody? And I'm like, but it's written down. And then I would have the bassist saying, you don't need that left hand because I'm doing the bass. So
I got you.
I always thought it was cheating doing my right hand. And I have people tease me, like, how come you just using your right hand in that one? I'm like, because I'm not playing over other instruments now. I'm not a solo artist, right? I'm a collaborator.
Exactly.
So I have to learn that. Yeah. Get rid of the bass. Yeah. Stop playing melody.
And so most live keyboard players, they're very careful what they're doing on the left hand. I mean, it can work great, but they really got to get in tune with the bass player, and those guys need to work that out.
Yeah. I mean, you end up, the left hand of the keyboard ends up playing in exactly the same register as the bass, so it can be very tricky.
And if I'm not exactly in time, it's going to suck with a collab, right? Because we're doing this virtually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Timing is one thing.
I learned kind of cut that out sometimes. I also learned I have to play with a click if they play with a click.
Yep.
And try to,
absolutely.
It's always latency still anyhow in my computer,
but certainly to Mr. Smith's point, you can get a lot of bass bailed up very easily, both in live and recording. And for that reason alone, it's great for the keyboard player to move up a little bit and do some different things, so they and the bass and some of the drum frequencies are not clashing with one another.
Yeah.
Just got to give sonically everybody some space.
If I'm not playing an entire song, I'm like, I'm just doing right hand little stuff, but I'm like, that's what you need sometimes in these songs. So we already have the instruments for the other. So I'm okay with it now. Yeah. I've resigned myself to be like, I can just do a right hand thing and then not step on people's toes.
Well, it's a learning process. I came from playing with 3-piece rock bands. I didn't have a keyboard player until I'd been playing for, 4 or 5 years. And it was a learning process for everybody. Because it's different.
You okay, Smee? You choking? What was that noise? You're moving.
That was me banging my microphone. Really professional, Laurie. Thanks.
Well, what I mean. Well, thank goodness, because this is a very professional show, as I think you guys all know. in every respect. I mean,
I'm so professional at mine tomorrow night. But yeah.
I didn't set the time right. I came on and I didn't mute myself in StreamYard, Lori, but I had muted my DAW. So I'm like, why am I not hearing any sound? I'm like, what are you?
Oh, no.
I was in the chat right before you went live, and that's when I went downstairs. I'll be back, and I started moving. So I'm glad things smoother now.
So yeah, there you go. Professional unprofessionals. That's exactly right.
So funny.
Yeah. We're properly unrehearsed.
Yes, I love it. I love
Exactly so. It's spontaneous. This is like verbal jazz. We don't know what we're going to play, and it might not always work.
All right, well,
And that
listen,
was
I'm going to look like a pussy leaving before Mr. Smith, but I want to go down and smoke, and it's been a long day for me. So I'm going to let you guys finish it up on your own. How's that?
All right. Well,
Thank you for being
bless
in,
you, dear.
Lori.
I will see you tomorrow night
Excuse me.
in
Yes,
one form or another.
you can come on even though you're white and Irish. You can come on the
Well, I am, for an Irishman, I've got a decent tan. I will say that.
He thinks he's got a tan. Will you look at him next to me, everybody? You look cute.
I love it.
That's such a cute tan, Chris. All right, see you tomorrow night. I'll be in the
Thanks,
chat.
Lori.
All right.
All right,
See you
bye,
soon.
everybody.
All
See you
right.
soon.
There she goes, everybody's Lori's Mishmash tomorrow night.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, she's
Brilliant.
fun. Yeah,
She's
Lori
great.
joins me on the program frequently, which I appreciate. And I
Yeah.
hang out on hers. I return the favor and mess up her show. So,
Hey, I've got to pick up on Empirism made a comment about Leyland Sklar,
yes.
the bass player. What a great call. What a great call,
Oh, that guy's
because
awesome.
Leyland has got an awesome feel. That is one professional guy. Yeah, good call. Good call. Worked with Phil Collins for how many years?
Forever.
You know?
During the 80s and 90s, if it was a great song hit record, he played on it. Just
Yeah.
how it was.
Yeah.
And he's still great. Yeah, he was an
Yeah.
interesting guy. He was doing a lot of live streaming during the pandemic. And, he would tell stories and, plays bass a little bit. And just a fascinating, very soft-spoken, very humble guy. But he's probably got more gold records than, I don't know, anybody. Because he played on everything that was huge back in that time frame. And still is playing on hits.
Yeah. I saw a great little thing in an interview. So, it's something that gets overlooked. You'll know this, Chris. On a bass is, we all talk about technique, yeah. But just when it comes to where you play the bass, so in relation to where your fingers go, are they close to the bridge or close to the 12th fret? And that is a completely different sound all the way, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So apparently, Leyland is in a session with somebody. I can't remember who the producer was or what it was. And the producer said to him, "Can you alter what's coming out of the bass there?" And he said, "Oh, I'm not really sure how to get that." Anyway, by the end of the day, they'd got a new session player in. Leyland had been replaced. And what he did, he fitted a fake switch on his bass. And the next time he was asked by the producer to alter how the bass sounded, he flicked the switch on the bass, but all he did was move finger position where he actually played it from. And the producer said, "That's great. That's exactly what I'm after. Thank you." That's a genius. That guy's a genius.
Yeah, and Carol Kay apparently had a very similar. She used to do something similar, like, "Oh, you need a different sound. Oh, here you go." And there's a visual thing. Anybody who's done live work knows that the sound guys are notorious for this stuff. Because
the
the
dummy
guitar
fader.
players are never loud enough, so the sound guy will always. And I had a sound company for a while, and you just make the motion that you're turning them up, and then they got good with it, and you got on with your life.
Yep, that's it. Well, Leyland was a great exponent of that. So he used to have a fake switch on his bass that he could press. It was wired to nothing, and he simply just moved his hand. If they wanted a thinner, more spunky sound, he went towards the bridge. If they wanted something warmer and fatter, he went towards the neck. That was it. Same bass, same setting, but the imaginary switch was pressed. I love that.
For for those of us out here playing, this is something that needs to be in your arsenal. Where you position your fingers on the bass or where you strum on an electric guitar.
Definitely.
Makes
Definitely.
unbelievable amount of difference in the tone and the attack and things. And you can get amazing effects just by making subtle shifts.
That's it.
And doing nothing else.
Yep. And what about you as well? Do you ever play with a plectrum on your bass?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, most of the time that I record, I use one.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
live, I
Interesting.
usually do just fingers. But
Right.
I have them handy, and if the song calls for it, if it needs a little more attack or a little more percussiveness, I'll go ahead and go to the pick. But
Right.
I have found, and interestingly enough, I'm super particular on guitar. I will only use Dunlop 50s, the nylon ones. That's all. I don't like any other pick. But I found when they get a little worn, I set them aside, and then when I record bass, I record with the worn versions of these because they're very soft, and so it gives a little finger, but it gives you some control over. You're very consistent, and because of the way my fingers are, there is a little unevenness in the tone and the pull because there's so much difference between. I really have to angle my fingers to get them very even going across all the strings. And I found for recording, it's just much easier to just play with the pick, and then I've got a consistent sound across all 4 strings, and I'm a 4-string guy. I don't own a 5-string. So, yeah, most of the time I record with a pick.
Yeah. Well, it really does even out dynamics as well with a pick, doesn't it? Like that.
Yeah.
It does help. Yeah.
And that's exactly why I do it. But live, I almost always just play with my fingers. I seldom use a pick playing live.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and partially too, it's position because I'm standing playing live, and so my arm position works better for fingers when I'm sitting here in the studio, playing guitar, and then switching over to bass. A pick just makes sense.
Yeah.
But your mileage may vary, folks. That's just me. And I have noticed that you do a little bit of a combination as well. I've seen you do a little bit of both.
Yeah, it just depends whether I want something with that massive attack to it. So if I'll use a heavy plectrum, or if I want something more rounded, I'll use fingers. It's but I know a lot of people prefer it when I use my fingers. But tish.
And there you go, folks. He slid that one right in. Were you paying attention? 'Cause it's a good one. Gotta pay attention on this show. Good one, Mr. Smith.
I prefer playing a bass with fingers, and there's something more. I don't know. I think it has. It's got a different feel because the actual transients are more rounded on it. But I really, really, really enjoy playing a bass with a plectrum and kind of more punk. The 3-chord thing.
Yeah.
There's really is something to be said for that at times. It's so liberating.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I started off when I first got a bass, did nothing but fingers, and then I was playing in harder rock bands and was using a pick most of the time. And I have switched back and forth basically the entire time I've played. I'll play with my elbow. I'll play with my thumb. Whatever it takes to get the sound. I have played with quarters before when I really needed a really grindy metallic attack. Not very frequently because, as you guys might know, bass strings are hella expensive, and running quarters up and down them is not good for their life. But anything for the sound, right?
Yeah, that's hubs, switches between, depending on the song, and that's it. And it's sometimes hard to define, isn't it, Gary? what to do, you know. And then other times it's obvious, oh, this song needs a plectrum, you know.
Yeah. It's like everything else we've talked about tonight. You know, does this serve the song? Do these lyrics serve the song? Does this sound, you know, does this lick? Does everything? And at the end of the day, you know, that's, for me personally, that's what I'm trying to do, is get the best for the song, whatever that looks like or sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, I've just done this, I've just laid down drums and bass for the Folk and Blueser and G-May collaboration. And I went through the drum track. In fact, I actually put the drum track in first take on this.
Nice.
And it purely because I'd practiced, so I knew what I was doing. And then because I'd practiced and I knew what I was doing, I was able to restrict myself and not play as many kick drums. And it's so much better for it. So sometimes, the point I'm getting to here is that sometimes it's great to record and be inspired and do it and just put it down as it comes out. But other times it really is better to try it, have a do, practice it, make sure it's underneath you, and then come back the next day, sleep on it. And when you come back the next day, you'll know it inside out. The brain does something clever.
Yeah.
So practice works in lots of different ways. Obviously, it means you know it, but there's something else. Once your brain has been able to soak it up, and then it's what I call it, it's underneath you. You'll know this, Chris. When you've got something underneath you, yeah, you know it, you can feel it. Yeah. And that way, there's something extra that goes into it. Hubsy knows this. There's that extra little bit of magic that goes in when you don't have to think about it, but you can enjoy it, and then you can keep it in check all at the same time. I really enjoy that. And with the G-May thing, like I was saying, it's enabled me to reduce the amount of kicks in the track. Because as I was listening to it, I'm thinking, this is a bit busy. It's a bit busy. Why is it busy? Kick drums. So I stripped out 30% of the kick drums and then played it again. Marvellous. But if I would have recorded it and not gone through that process, I would have ended up with a drum track with too many kick drums in it.
Yeah, I think that's an important... I'm a huge believer in scratch tracks. Everything I do, I record multiple times because, you know, I'm writing the song, and like I mentioned, the song that I shared with Gary and Lori,
yeah,
it's nothing but scratch. Everything is going to get replaced except for the drum program, which I finally got happy with. But I did one vocal take today, and it's a 5.5-minute song, and I sang it straight through,
really?
And I'm like, that's actually pretty decent. I probably could keep this, but I'm not going to. Because I want to have the song firmer in my head where the melody line is just absolutely cemented. I can sing it in my sleep. So, you know, It will get re-recorded. But for me personally, I find that's a good way to do it, and exactly what you're talking about. You get it, and then it plays in your head, and you get to the point where you've got muscle memory and you know it, and then you have confidence. And when you have confidence, you can do anything. You can play anything, you can sing anything. It took me a while to figure out that was the thing holding me back as a vocalist, was just confidence.
Right, okay, yeah.
You know, I thought I could sing, but, you know, until I felt like, oh yeah, I can sing. I can hit these notes. I can do all these things. And when I got to that point, then singing became very easy and very fluid.
Right. Yeah, got you. And I've maintained this all of my life. There's something. There's a little extra bit in music, and I believe it comes from the spirit in which it's offered. So how that person is feeling in front of that microphone actually translates into the sound that comes out of the speakers. And if you're not confident and you've not got hold of it and you're still reading the lyrics, or you're not quite sure what this bit of the melody is, it'll come across on the recording. And you know, the opposite of that, if you're confident and know it and know what you're doing, people can hear that control and or how relaxed you are, or the fact that it feels more like it comes from out of you, you know, rather than something that you present. And there's a big difference in that.
Oh, I
So the
think
best
so.
the best thing I think people can do really when they come to record is, first off, don't hang fire. Practice a little bit. And if you think you've practiced it enough, just do it another couple of times. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, to your point, this new song, you know, I played it on vacation. I'd had a little bit of the lick, and I fleshed it out on the vacation, so I probably played it 40, 50 times, and then I recorded my scratch track. So it'll get recorded again, but I was relatively confident in it because I'd played it a number of times. Exactly to your point, when you're doing this and you have a little doubt or you're not sure, you get tense. And when you sing, tension is your absolute enemy. If you're tense, you're going to strangle the notes.
Yep.
You cannot perform like you're capable of performing when you have any tension.
Yeah,
You gotta
definitely.
be loose, and
Definitely.
that is the funniest thing. And I guess I learned this, I don't know, sometime back in the day. Everybody tries to sing, you know, a high, and I have a fairly high voice. But when you try to go to those high notes, you tense up. You're never going to get there.
You do.
Ever, ever,
Yeah,
ever.
you do.
When you're loose and you let it flow, you're adding a full step to your vocal range, if not more.
Yes. Definitely.
Counterintuitive,
Tension,
but that's how it works.
yeah, the tension is very destructive, certainly when it comes to vocals. Yeah.
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 Well, and on two levels, it's destructive in that you're not really hitting the notes clean, and but over time, yeah, it can do damage. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you don't want to do that.
And that's something, talking about the vocals when you come to that. So myself and Valerie have mentioned this in the sound sessions. I think finding the right key to present your song in is so important, you know. And I would always recommend that if you've got a song, you go through the vocal, find what the highest note is, and then my advice would be bring it down a semitone. Change the key or bring it down a tone so that you've got headroom. Everything works better with a bit of headroom. So if you're flat out at your highest note, you're not always going to hit it. But if you're flat out a couple of steps off your highest note, you're going to own it. You are going to own that space.
Yeah, this is a great advice, folks. And it's relatively easy to change the key around. Yep, I've tuned my guitars down a half step, have for years. And I started because my Strat, and you probably agree with this, Strats sound better tuned a half step down from standard tuning. I don't know what it is about their makeup, but they just do.
Yeah, often they do. Yeah.
And so
It's something to do with the tension down the G string, isn't it?
yeah, it just they stay in tune a little better, and they're more balanced down that half step. So I started. It was only my Strat that I tuned down a half step, and then over time I'm like, I always had to remember, oh yeah, I played this with my Strat, so I got to change. And finally I said, screw it, I'm just going to tune all my guitars down a half step, and then I don't have to think about it every time I pick up a guitar. But it has benefit in that vocal thing, exactly to your point. And I'm not sure I could tell you what key most of my songs are in. I mean, I could look it up. I wrote it down someplace. But, you know, finding that vocal range where, to your point, I have a little extra headroom. I don't think that there is any song that I do that I sing the highest note that I can sing.
Right. Yeah.
Now, a couple of the covers with Lori, because those are all in standard tuning, there was a couple of those that, yeah, I was, you know.
Yeah. Balls to the wall.
Yeah, that was what, C, whatever it is, C sharp 5 or whatever that my highest note is. I think that's what my highest note is. But yeah, it was up there. But yeah, you know, give yourself a little room to do that. Because again, if you're going to play live like Mr. Smith and I do, if you're right at the max, there are going to be nights it's not there. And I certainly noticed on one of my songs when I was having some of the vocal trouble, when I was a little iller, there was a song where it was dicey if I could hit that one note. Some nights I could, some nights I couldn't, because I did not have the strength and control that I normally had until, I got on some medication, got feeling a little better. Now it's back to where that particular note is no problem. I can hit it no problem. But, I had to think about, because I was struggling there for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always nicer to give yourself a bit of breathing space if you can.
Yeah, indeed. And, Valerie is the expert. I mean, she uses a capo up and down the neck and changes all that around.
Yeah, she's
someday
brilliant
I'll
at
get
that
skill.
Yeah, she's
Muscle
a
memory
particularly
can
good
be
exponent of it.
Oh, yeah, she's great. And a lot of people do it. Muscle memory can be your enemy. And in my case, that's what it is. I put a capo on, and I still reach for the nut. So I'm playing over the top of the damn capo. And, that doesn't. So that's a struggle for me personally. So that's why you don't see me use a capo very often. So I really have to think about it.
I mean, I will say one thing as well. So there's little tricks and tips in the studio that, again, I just don't think some people really know. Sometimes I will take 2 strings off the guitar to play a part so that the other strings are not ringing, or I will tape them up or put a piece of foam in them or something, block them off completely.
Exactly. This is a great point. Probably for a lot of home musicians, they don't think to do that. Taping strings, or like you said, or taking them off, is an old studio trick going back to the 60s. But if you don't have that knowledge, as a home recordist, maybe you wouldn't think of it, and you go, wow, I've got weird overtones. Why is this happening? Well, that's why. And it's not cheating.
No, and sometimes that can happen behind the note or behind the bridge. So after the strings have passed over those points, there's strange harmonic overtones that come from those little pieces of string that are then tuned differently to the main body of the string. So quite often I've had it where people have come in with guitars and I've had to put a piece of foam underneath the strings at the headstock to dampen them off, and then the guitar sounds great. But if you take that foam out, especially when they're playing big distortion, you get very strange overtones that come out. So sometimes there are these very small details that if you don't know, you can come a cropper on as well.
Yeah, these are great things to have. Of course, I have hair ties around fairly frequently, and a hair tie across that top does exactly that. Just dampens those little overtones sometimes.
Yep.
So here you go. I told everybody at the beginning of the program you were going to get a ton of wisdom hanging out for a little while with Mr. Smith, and here you go. I don't know. This is probably little trick number 40 or 50 that we've covered tonight. But
we should write a book, Chris. We should put a book out.
I know a dude who makes books. Somebody wants to write, So, just...
Has anybody done that? So, we've all watched these people talk about it. We've all heard these tips and stuff. Has anybody put a book out of the ultimate guide to recording studio tips?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I don't seem to know one.
No, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Have I seen that in a book where somebody says to dampen the strings behind the note before you record? I don't think I have.
No, it's just one of those knowledge. I don't know where I learned it. Somebody told it to me, I guess.
Yeah. I'm the same. It's like we could do with the studio Bible or something,
You know what? In my business, there was like 101. We'd have these books, 101 tips for blah, blah, blah. There you go, 101 studio tips.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
okay.
We should look at it.
Okay.
Okay, is there anybody out there in publishing? Anybody? Come on.
Okay, well, that's kind of the joke, because that's exactly what I do for a living.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now then.
I'm a book publisher and a book editor. That's what I do when I'm not, standing in front of a fan and dressing up like a pirate.
Let's talk about this in the back rooms, then, Chris.
We should talk. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do book layouts and all that kind of stuff, and so yeah.
Right. Brilliant.
But 101 recording tips for the home recordist, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are doing that now.
Yeah.
People like us. We have our little community here, which is hundreds of people deep, but there's other communities that also have hundreds of people, and there's all these tangential. So there's something. I joined a group today, and I think it was studio production tips, and where you would share. So, and that was some Facebook I got. Facebook or YouTube, I don't remember what it was, but it's like, oh, this sounds interesting, so I joined.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about plectrums before. It's in my mind at the moment. Recording acoustic guitars. So some songs, when you're recording an acoustic, you want to hear the transients. You want to hear the attack of the plec on the strings.
Yes.
And for that, you'd use a thicker plectrum. But sometimes you don't want the transients there. You want the chord from the guitar. So you want to soften it up. Well, at that point, I'll use a papery plectrum or even a felt plectrum off a banjolele, so that there's no string attack noise in it. Just the chord softly comes out together, more like a keyboard, more like a synth. It takes that transient down, and the whole chord comes out evenly. There's not as much string noise in it, and that's literally the difference in just the plectrum.
That makes perfect sense. Again, I do something similar because I do a lot of live, on YouTube. If you have the pick and you hold it very flat, you get a minimum of the string attack. But if you angle it into the strings a little bit, then all of a sudden you get a lot more attack. And it's just as simple as rotating your wrist that little bit. Yep.
All the tiny nuance things that make a difference to how the recording translates.
Yeah, these little things can make a huge difference to the sound. And, you
Yeah.
record yourself doing these things, folks, and you will definitely hear the difference.
Yeah, and another thing when it comes to recording as well, so I always walk away. So just when I think I've got it done, I shut it down and walk away. And I will sleep on it, and then I will come back to it. And it gives me a fresh perspective, because sometimes, I don't know whether you've noticed this, Chris, you can be doing a few hour sessions and you get kind of lost in it, and you lose. I don't know whether it's you get too close to it or something, but you don't see it if you're not careful. You miss these little things that normally you would pick up on. So say somebody sent you a track and you think, oh yeah, I can hear that maybe that guitar part's a bit loud, for example. Well, that quite often happens to me. So I'm mixing. I suffer from fatigue with my ears because I've been doing it for 3 hours.
Yep.
And I have to shut it down and leave it till the next day to come back to counteract that fatigue and hear it objectively. And I think that is one tip that I would say to anybody. There's no rush, walk away, come back tomorrow and listen to it objectively again.
No, I think that's brilliant advice, because your ears are like every other part of your body. They're going to get tired at some point. And the trick is knowing, like, I've been doing this for whatever. Some people might be able to work longer than others. Some people, if their hearing has some issues, like mine does a little bit, maybe you can't go 3 hours. Maybe your best work is between an hour and an hour and a half, and after that, it might start to get a little dicey. So, again, to your point, walk away, get fresh ears. I think that's just a good way to do it anyway. When you think you've got the mix down or you feel pretty good about the parts, let it sit for a day or two, and then come back to it and go, do I still feel as good about it as I did 2 days ago?
Yeah.
and my ears are good. I'm fresh. Okay, you know what? Now I'm hearing something that I didn't hear before, and I need to do a
Yeah,
little work
and
here.
and you'll know this as well. More often than not, if you do that, you only tweak. You only tweak.
Yeah, it's
Because
minor.
if you left it and you thought it was right, when you come back, you make the tweaks, and those tweaks make all the difference. It's almost like the finishing glaze on pottery, you know?
Yeah, you get to a certain point, if you've leveled everything off properly, starting off, and you've recorded it properly, and it is tweaks from there. Just, do we need a little less reverb? Maybe we need a little more delay. Maybe we just need a little thing right here. Maybe this vocal needs a teeny bit more compression because there's a lot of, we're kind of up and down, and just subtle things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But-
and it's
but
the
that's
best
the
way to
difference.
be able to see them. Take a break, come back to it.
Yeah, and that's the main difference between home recordists, as many of us are, and real pros, is they just instantly know, hey, I need a little bit of whatever. Whereas it might take us a little while to figure out, well, what's not quite right, or what do I need to change here? And, fiddle fart around. I'm still, after all this time, figuring out the best vocal chain for me personally. I had a really good one I felt for a while, but my voice changed a little bit, and so now I'm not quite as happy with my chain as I once was, and so on every song I'm making little tweaks to just try and get it where it needs to be, and I'm not doing anything massive,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah.
little things. And of course the other part of that too is if I'm doing a cover, say with Lori, then I want to try and emulate the tone of the original vocalist to a certain thing, and sometimes I'll more radically change my vocal chain. And I was listening today to a show, and then the Styx cover that I did with her came up, and then the Night Ranger cover, and
Right.
it was really massive. I noticed that, man, I had a very different vocal chain for these two songs. It was appropriate because it matched what the original was, but yeah, it was very different from maybe what I would do for my own stuff.
Yeah, and then I presume stylistically they were different at the microphone.
Yeah.
So you're presenting them differently as a vocalist in the first place.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that had a lot to do with it. And then, the effects on afterwards.
Yeah. I'm just going to say good night and thank you to Valerie because, the without whom list, Valerie is always at the head of for me. Bless you, Valerie. Love you. Sweet
You're
dreams.
good people, Valerie. Have a pleasant and restful evening. And then get up and get after it tomorrow for Friday Song Club,
Yep.
which is one of my favorite parts of Friday, when I can listen to it. Sometimes I actually have to work during it. It pisses me off. But
It's such a great crowd over at Valerie's.
yeah,
It really is lovely. It's a great chat. It's got lovely atmosphere. There's always really good humour and a lot of intelligence in there, which I love.
yes.
Great.
Now there's some super bright people in this community, and which I appreciate. So
Yeah.
Life's too short to hang out with a bunch of dummies.
Yeah, we can do enough of that at work in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Going to the store or whatnot. So there you go. Gary's throwing links for us. Appreciate it. Again,
Yay.
thanks. Camellia has taken the night off, and God bless her because she's a great mod and she's here pretty much every Thursday. But Gary and Coldy have picked up the slack because they're great mods too. So appreciate you throwing those links, Gary. If it's up
Brilliant.
to me to throw links, we don't get no links. I can barely, pat my head and rub my tummy. So hosting the show,
I
is
s-
throwing links.
I struggle to dress myself sometimes, Chris. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, well, shoot. Now that you mentioned, I'm not going to stand up. Oh my. Well, again, no one would know, so I'm just going to
Nope.
stay in, in my
Not a word.
position. Now, Valerie would understand that living here. I'm a Colorado native guy. I wear shorts year-round. The only
Gotcha.
time I put on sweatpants is if the snow is above like 6-7 inches. Then it's like, all right, it's over my socks. I'm gonna have to put sweatpants on. But it's a Colorado thing. It's just what we do. I don't have a
Right.
park on, but shorts.
Yeah, of
'Cause
course.
We're weird. I
Yeah.
think it's
I've not got the legs.
yeah. Legs are pretty good, and
I look better in spandex.
I see. Yeah, I do not look good in spandex. But back in the day, yeah, still not. I played sports all my life, so I've got big old thighs, and spandex not a good look on this dude. Just so you'll never see me in spandex.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So what's your plan for this latest track that you're working on? What do you think your time frame is?
Well, because of the glacial pace at which I work, I will have the music, I figure, knocked out in another week. And I'll feel really good about it. And then I'll work on the mastering for another week or 2 weeks or whatever. And then it'll take me 6 months to get the damn video done. Because
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
the song from the first Cancer Benefit album, I got the video out a full year after the song was out.
Oh, well done.
It's embarrassing,
quick.
frankly.
It's
but,
quick.
Yeah, I've got 3 songs in the can that the songs have been done for between 3 and 6 months, and I'm just trying to get the damn video done.
Yeah.
That is the holdup in the process for me because, solid plan. Why rush? I enjoy doing the videos. What I don't like is for me to do the videos, I basically have to clear out my office space and get the chair out and take all my guitars out and all this stuff so I have just enough room and green screen that I can do it.
Got you.
And then, do that for
Got you.
2 hours and film and then haul everything back in and hope that I didn't screw up. And I do that sometimes. And then we can edit and make the video thing.
Yeah.
So I tend to...
Hi, Leela, as well.
Hey, there she is. But that's my holdup. I'm fairly slow writing songs. I don't screw around a whole lot once I get it in my head, getting them recorded and produced, and then the after things takes me forever.
Yeah.
So, if I put out, like last year was pretty productive. I put out, I think, 6 songs, which for me is, wow, really. And I'm on pace to do pretty similar this year, but, will I get all the videos
I mean, it's
out?
still good. 6 tracks over a year is not bad. Not at all.
Terrible. Not
No,
terrible.
it's pretty good. Every 8 weeks, that's all right.
Yeah. Well, again, the videos lag, and I've got a couple songs that are caught in, I don't know, just limbo. Either I'm not totally crazy about the song, or there's something about it that's just not finished, or I just don't think the song's very good, and I'm probably never going to do anything with it. So I've probably got 3 sitting around like that right now that I did it, and I either like the lyrics, but I don't like the music that much, or something about it. I just don't feel like it's something I want to share.
Yeah, I feel that. They can't all be classics, can they?
No. I feel like my batting average is probably a little better than it should be, given my experience level, in that, if I do 3, 2 of them are decent. I'll take that all day long. But
That's good. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I could handle that average as well.
yeah. But again, at the end of the day, I'm doing it for me, And it's not for me to say. If people like it and they think it's good, that is fantastic, and I feel very honored that they do. But I at some point, you're just not particularly objective about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and like you did as well, it's great to have other people who you can get an opinion of.
Yeah.
And an opinion you can trust.
That's the thing. I really feel strongly about that. That was the whole basis of Songwriters Anonymous. And Songwriters Anonymous were not as active as we once were.
Yeah.
There's still some activity going on, but getting a cadre of people together whom you can just say, here you go. What do you think of this? And they'll be honest with you and say, okay, I think you're onto something. Here's the parts that are not working for me, and here's why. And give you some feedback on that, and give you the option of saying, okay, maybe there's something to that. Maybe I need to look at it. Or, of course, it's rule number one of Songwriters Anonymous was always, it's your song. So
of course,
these are suggestions, take them or leave them. But most of the suggestions I've gotten there have been pretty solid and, influenced. And, I've got now some outside people, such as Lori and Gary, who I will feed things to because I value their opinion, or I feel like they have an expertise in an area that I could use feedback on. And there's actually a couple people that do that with me, that they'll send me stuff and go, what do you think of this? And I'm working with a person right now who's basically, they're going through an entire album and they're feeding me it song by song and saying, okay, I've been working on this song for a month, 2 months. I think it's done. What do you hear? And the one today, it was like, you're done. It's perfect. The one before, I said, I think you've inadvertently got a little buildup in the bass area, and here's the frequency where I think it is. Take a look at that. And it's just helpful to have that. And
well, it's that a set of ears that is not so close to it, like a producer would do. Really.
Exactly.
And it's worth its weight in gold sometimes, because it's easy to forget the little things sometimes, or to just not see them because you're too close. That outside perspective is great.
No, I think that is absolutely necessary. And like we talked about, we're in this little thing, you're kind of so self-contained in a lot of ways. You really need some perspective. And everybody, look, I do books and magazines and everything. My authors need me as an editor because they're too close to it. I need my proofreaders because I know what the author is trying to say. I did some work on it, but because I know what they're trying to say, I might grammatically miss something that, and sometimes my proofreaders will go, you know what, this doesn't say what your guy thinks it says. And so we all need that kind of feedback. And musically, somebody to listen to it and go, hey, overall, I think this is cool, but I think maybe you missed something here. Or maybe there's a little too much.
Yeah. And I know you'll find this as well. You do find that there are particular people that you can garner this relationship with, because sometimes it's difficult when somebody's critical about what you're doing. It is hard to not be so close to something and not get butt hurt when somebody says, I think you've got, your snare drum's the wrong tuning or whatever it is. It's difficult, but so finding those people who, A, have got your best interests at heart, and B, you can trust to make a judgment that they know they've understood it. They really have taken the time to listen to it. Like, Hubsy's brilliant for this. Hubsy's got a well-rounded view of things.
Yes.
And quite often Hubsy will pick up on something that I'll think, I didn't consider that. Yeah, let's do that.
I think
and
that's
that can
key.
take a while to do,
Yep. Everybody say hi to Jade Starr in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you, Jade. The best. Yeah. I've never done that before, but you know what? Now I'm going to go all out. There you go. I'll give you the Simmons, Jade.
Oh, look, that was better than mine. Wow.
Okay, so I'll never do that again. But I've got it out of my system.
Oh, wow. I'm glad that was an internet first and I was here for it.
Now, there you go. But to your point, Butthurt, everybody, if you're asking for feedback, make sure your ego's in check a little bit. Because, again, nobody's out there is going to tell you that you suck. I had plenty of that playing live back in the day, so I'm immune to that part of it. But if I ask somebody for their honest opinion, good, bring it, And in that instance, if they say, dude, how long you been playing bass? Hey, you're missing it on this one. Yeah, there would be a small part to go, well, bummer. But if it's somebody I asked for and I value their opinion, I really need to pay attention to that and go, maybe
Absolutely.
I didn't give it my best work here. I need to think this through and
Absolutely.
check it.
Yeah. Jade said that was truly mind-scarring, Chris.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you're welcome. This is the thing, Jade. You've given a licking. Can you take a licking? No, I don't know. Based on this.
No comment.
Yeah. Just you leave that to your own devices there. But Dom always used to say, he goes, I don't understand how a bass player does the bass parts dead last. And I do. I realize that's odd recording wise. But I've heard what the bass was going to do from the moment I wrote the song. So for me, it just makes sense to do it last. I want to get the other parts down, and then I know how the bass is going to fit in. But
it's I get asked about this quite often, about the order that I would record something in, and really, if we're working to a click track, it doesn't really matter a lot of the time, as long as if you've got decent musicians that are playing, then it's not so fundamentally important. But to be honest, 99.9% of the time, put the drum track in first.
Yes, that 100%.
Everybody play to the drum track.
100%.
Yeah, and that can be it's a twofold thing. The first thing is that, well, hopefully, the idea is that the drum track is in time. That'd be nice. So we're all playing in time. So the drum track takes away the metronome aspect of it, so it's less rigid. But then the drum track gives you the feel for accents, and you'll know that particularly as a bass player.
Yeah, 100%, folks. Pay attention. That was one of the hugest things you're going to hear tonight. Get those drums down, because we're all, whether we are subconscious of it or not, we're all playing and singing around those accents. That is the driver of the song. And, the song we've been discussing of mine tonight, that was the key thing, is get the drums down right. So now I can go back and re-record the guitars and do the vocals and do the bass, because they're locked in on that drum, that final drum track. Yeah.
It does make a huge difference. And then you've got exceptions to the rule, very strange exceptions to the rule, actually, like Steely Dan. Now, Steely Dan are one of the musos bands from history. They're a musician's outfit, essentially. A lot of musos like to listen to Steely Dan. They weren't that successful commercially, really. They were always a bit in the, like a subculture.
Yeah, the critics loved them, and they had a cult following. Yeah, but overall album sales, they were,
it's negligible, isn't it, really? Yeah, but quite often, Steely Dan would have had the entire track recorded, and then would bring in 6 different drummers to see which drum track was right on it. So quite often they work backwards, which you'd never know from listening to it. But having said that, all of the rest of the parts that were put down worked so well that it was easy to just change the drum track at will,
Yeah,
but
it was an odd way of working, but...
It is, yeah. It's an odd way, but Steely Dan managed to do it. But for most people, get the drums in first. get them in first.
Right. And, you know, if you're somebody like me who's ended up using programmed drums or loops or everything, record your scratch track, your guitars, know where the song's going, and then you do the drums. And so, like, this is where it goes. These are where the accents need to be. This is where the fills need to be. And then throw all that other crap out and start over.
Yes. And I would suggest as well that you have a decent vocal line in. So if you've got the drums and a vocal line that roughly represents what your finished vocal is going to be, those two things will steer you correctly for the rest of the arrangement.
Yep.
Because you'll find very quickly whether you're standing on the toes of those things or not.
Yeah, exactly so. So, a super session here with all these things. Just what I hoped this would be. So
it's been a real pleasure, Chris. Pleasure.
I have been, this just turned out. I hope to do this about once a month, to have people of Mr. Smith's caliber on the show, that we can really talk about nuts and bolts of music and philosophy on these kind of things. We did it with Gary Hubbs. It was very productive. Now with Mr. Smith. So hopefully we'll bring you some more of this. Like I said, about once a month. And then, we'll return you to your regularly scheduled stupidity of what are we drinking and what are we eating and whatnot.
Oh, and I've got to give Dom a shout out as well. I've not seen Dom for a bit, and I've missed him to a list. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah,
Dom,
he is.
Love you, buddy.
On the comeback trail. He really jacked up his finger. Here's the thing: when you're an old man, be careful playing sports with your young kids. And he just they were tossing the football around. His kids got a gun on him, and he rocketed the football to him, and just got that pinky in the wrong place and broke it pretty severely. But cast is off. He did. Well, he didn't do rehab because he's Dom, but he's self-rehabbing, and his finger's getting better and better all the time. He's started to play guitar as of about 10 days ago, so hope to see Don here pretty quick.
Brilliant. Well, and Laurie, you're more than welcome. Thank you. It's been great to have you with us as well. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, it's not a reshore unless Laurie shows up for a minute, at least. You know what? You'll send Mr. Smith a private chat. Maybe he'll enlighten you on that. I have no idea.
That sort of information's behind a paywall.
As it should be. This is it. This physical therapy for Dom is whiskey and a spanner. Correct. Too good. Well, let me cue up right here when I had my last song that I wanted to play from Mr. Smith on our way out, and I'll ask you a little bit about, again, I love the video for this one, but I really like the song. And tell us a little bit about Slowly Dissolving.
Okay. Do a delve into the lyrics with this. Slowly Dissolving was written at a strange time. There were some strange things going on in the YouTube world, and I'd taken some time out for various things, and I was going through some health problems, and it was literally that I felt personally like I was just dissolving away, and it was just realistic. It was down to me to pick it up. There is no Batman that's going to swing through the window and fix it for me or rescue me from the top of a building. I had to do it myself. Yes. And that's basically what the track's about. Sometimes you feel like you're disappearing, and there's not really anybody that can help you but yourself. So pull it together and it'll all be all right.
That is very relatable, I think, to all of us. So I want to thank you, Mr. Smith, for being on here. What a lovely guest you have been. This was everything I hoped it would be and more.
Bless you, Chris.
Thank you for Lord for dropping in. Let's go out tonight by enjoying Mr. Smith's track, Slowly Dissolving. And folks, we will see you next Thursday here on the Happy Hour. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
If you will
man. And my own salvation sits in my hands. Maybe there's some heaven or some kind of hell. Which way I'm going, I just can't tell, just can't tell. It's nothing to do with magic. No, it's nothing to do with magic. The price I paid is tragic. Here I go, slowly dissolving. There is no Neverland, and I'm no Peter Pan. Life slips through my fingers like grains of sand. If there's a heaven or some afterlife, what have I got to do to get it right, get it right? It's nothing to do with magic. It's nothing to do